Roy's countering. Percocet gets the knock.
Oh, another one.
Quick counter.
The trade. Sam with the drop shot from behind. Unsuccessful on that. J7 coming in for the support.
Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, Twitch and Facebook all together. We're ready to dive finally into our second day of finals, and also it's going to be the final pool of all the action we've had unfolding for the past 3 weeks now. It is the tippity top of the mountain, and after this we'll be having 4 teams going straight to the EMEA League. My name is Maxman, once again with the amazing Imperium on my side to bring you the action you all know and love. Imperium, how are you feeling for this final day?
Nervous, and I'm just casting the thing, right? I'm excited, nervous. I anticipate a lot of craziness, especially as we get to the end of the day, the last game or so, if teams, you know, might be feeling a little bit extra spicy. But at the end of the day, the standings, it's been strong, it's been close, and I believe that there's any number of teams, even down at the very bottom of the standings, that can make it into the top 4.
A lot of teams can still make it on through without too much of an issue, but unfortunately, doing a comeback in only 4 games can sometimes be a little bit harsh. If you want to do that comeback from down below, like the case of Bet Romania, right? Like, you need to try and get those good results from the very first game of the day on Erangel. With that said, you know, we're talking about what's going to be happening today. So maybe if you're really not too up to date on what's going to be happening on the broadcast today, I'm going to be showing up the schedule. Yesterday we had 4 games. Today's going to be also the case. We're going to be dittoing that. Erangel for the first game, followed up with Miramar, Sanhok, and Vikendi. The last one's going to be on Vikendi, meaning that once again, just like yesterday, you need to be consistent on literally every single map. And yesterday, talking about consistency, some teams actually came surprisingly on top with really good results.
There was definitely a pattern when it came to the top 3 teams, UDR, Killers, Redders, Urban, Godsend. They all got 3 out of 4 strong results in the bag. And I would even go out to say that Godsend kind of just about got 4 good games as well, because their last game was 9 points. It's not quite, in my opinion, the threshold of a good game, but it's more the fact that they proved their consistency even further by being in 3rd place overall without a chicken dinner is definitely something that has opened my eyes to how strong they can be as a team.
Godsend, also Scrimfarm, currently standing in 4th position with 0. No, we're talking about the standings. You know, I'm just going to show them on screen. I should have done that already earlier, but that's fine. Here we go. Here are the current standings. You can see that UDR Killers standing on top of the mountain with 66 points to show for it, with 1 chicken dinner. 1 chicken dinner also for Red Reserve with 61. So far, they're battling it out for that number 1 position. But as you said, right, literally any team could still also not only fight to qualify, but even fight for that number 1 spot if they get insanely good results today.
Yeah, of course. And even though, because I like to plant a couple of seeds, right, based on what we've seen yesterday. So Bloodline X team, as an example, specifically Bloodline, their first game was that chicken dinner, it was that 27-point game, but the 3 games after it was only 6, 6, and 8. So it's just planting that little seed of, if they don't get a chicken dinner today, can they get the results needed to move up into the top 4? Then looking at X team, again, 2 good results, but then the 2 bad results were a 1-pointer and a 5-pointer. So a little bit of a roller coaster day isn't going to help when it comes down to the mentality, the focus. Because if you have 1 good game and then you go out in 16th in the next game, is that really going to help your confidence? No, it's not. So it's something that I hope the team are a little bit more prepared for.
I think definitely they're going to be trying prepared. Talking about the teams that potentially did good, teams that maybe struggled a little bit. One team that definitely struggled was Bet Romania going into the semi-finals.
Yes.
They were just in the semi-finals. They were absolutely, I'm going to say, they were insanely good. They were the best team going into the semi-finals for goddamn sure. Imperium just being so consistent, picking up 2nd position, 3rd position, 4th position throughout almost the entirety of the semi-finals. Then really dropping off. Currently, they're standing in 15th position with only 13 points. Similar to Inside Games that are standing in with also 13 points in 16th position. Really, as you said it, any teams, even the teams down below, can still do a comeback. But for the teams down below, they're making it just even harder on themselves. So they're going to need, like, you know, top 5s literally every single game if they just want to even fathom of making it into the top 4.
Yeah, exactly. I was talking to Bam during the week. I was actually playing a couple of games with him at like 6 o'clock in the morning as that happens. Getting carried as you do. And he's the IGL for Bet Romania. And we were talking about kind of, you know, what makes teams strong or stronger. And he was talking about how for him in the team, he tries to give them that level of freedom for them to do what they know they can do best in terms of frag out, get strong results. But he also tries to take the mindset of, look, you know, when a game's finished, that game's over. You don't worry about it. You move on to the next game. You focus on to the next game. And yeah, okay, they haven't kicked off their finals yet after 4 games, but it is going to be important that he lives and they live off that mantra of whatever has happened in the past is in the past. Now it's about leading into the final 4 games and striking those results. So hopefully, hey, make it into the top 4.
You like Usain Bolt just look towards the future? That was not a dab, by the way. That was an Usain Bolt move, guys. Please don't tell me I dabbed. That did not look like it whatsoever.
That was most likely a dab.
You can't even see my face cam, Imperium. That's a lie. You cannot see my face cam.
I can presume.
It was not. Guys, tell me in the chat if that did look like one or not. I'm sorry if it did.
It's a dab.
Imperium didn't see. I'm gonna fight you right off the stream, Imperium. I'm gonna smack you. Okay, with that said, talking about.
Should we have a dab off? But anyway.
No. Oh my god, this got really cringe really quickly, guys. Spam cringe in the chat, please. Spam Imperium cringe. What is going on? But with that said, you know, we're talking about what these teams are potentially going to be qualifying for. Last season, it was fighting for the regional finals. There was a finals over 2 days. Now it got shifted quite a bit, so I'm going to be actually showing it on our screen. There we go. Here it is, what these teams are all fighting for all together. Only 4 teams of Europe will be able to represent the European region in the EMEA League. Of course, you're going to be having the teams also representing Europe from Germany, Turkey, and the CIS region all together. Talking about CIS region, the trifecta, the trinity of teams are back.
Yeah, I was gonna talk about that kind of later on, about what slightly did happen in the CS region. But yeah, the Trinity teams are indeed back.
Yeah, Kunina Power, 1218, Dream Eaters, gonna see them fight up against each other once again. And Alliance also, congratulations to all the teams that did make it on through. Really great stuff to see. But now we focused on Europe. You know, CIS is cool and everything, but here we're here for the European region. And talking about European region, the European lobby is kicking off. We got 110 seconds on the clock before we do dive into the action. And really, it's in the air. Like, normally you have an idea of like which teams will be potentially fighting for the top, but over only 8 games, anyone can take it. And like, it's the narrative that you keep coming back with. Like, we sound like I sound maybe like a broken record, which is indeed the case, but it's that close and the action is just going to be so intense that anyone can take it. I have no clue who's going to win this one. No idea.
Hey, look, sometimes you just gotta not necessarily say how it is, but you can only speak on what is literal facts. When you look at the CIS region that has just finished, Alliance, who did make it through, they made it through by 1 point. It's happened in the past. It will happen in the future based on the point format that we have, where it is so many points for standings, 20-14-10 moving on down, and the kill points are ever elusive. We do see teams, you know, on the same points per game in terms of scoring 6 points in game 1, 3 teams scoring 6 points, 2 teams scoring 4 points. You know, and it can get to a point where you have that final game, those final moments, and the team that qualifies it makes it by 1 point. It's just so close.
And we're talking about a lot about how the point system works, and maybe some of you guys at home are joining the stream right now, like, this is maybe the only stream you've seen because you just wanted to check the finals, see exactly who's going to be qualifying, so you really didn't check too much of PMCO. There's all the VODs still available, so it's still not too late to go check all the juicy action unfolded over here. But here are how the point system works. So if you do care, take a chicken dinner. It's going to be 20 points going your way. Second, 14. Trickles down from the 11th position and down below is going to be only 1 point going your way. So you definitely do not want to be in that area in the standings. And of course, 1 kill equal 1 point, which is going to make all of these teams potentially a big portion of their kill count, and that can make the big difference in the finals.
4 games, 4 maps, 4 opportunities for these teams to make it into the top 4. It's a number of 4s coming into the final day, and when you consider what we started at, 32 teams at the start of the PMCO, whittled down to these top 16 fighting for the 4 spots, it's a glorious thing to experience.
It's a glorious thing, and look at this glorious map of Erangel 2.0. Glorious. And I don't know.
Where's it going? Where's the plane path?
I didn't have time to do it. God damn it. There you go. I mean, I was going to say, as Naya down to military, but no. We good. But yeah, it's going to be anyways for most on the eastern coastline, which a lot of this lobby, Imperium, we know into the finals. We saw it yesterday. A lot of this lobby on Erangel, they like to drop on the western side. So for the final game on Erangel, this is maybe not the best one.
It's definitely not the best. Scrim Farm, Red Reserve, MVP, and Polarize, they are going to be losing somewhat precious time if they opt to stick towards the western side of the map, because they'll have to grab vehicles and go there. That's what the precious looting time being lost. it kind of makes sense because with a lot of the eastern side also kind of occupied between Time to Shine, Inside Games, Gun, Godsend, even the Real Deal, it kind of doesn't make sense for them to have a different drop spot as of now. It's also going to be great for Bloodline because they have changed up their drop spot in Erangel to military base.
Yeah, military base, that's going to be an easy one for them at the end of the plane path. Bet Romania going to go straight on over to the western side. UDR Killers, they're going to go for Pachinki. Oh, but the phase 1 circle just really working super well together, intertwining itself with that plane path. Now, really, teams who are going to go very far in the west, they don't really have to anymore. I mean, if they got a decent location to hold on to, just stay there.
Well, what Red Reserve could do is they could opt to go to Rozhok. Now, I know Gaijin, they haven't exactly made that area their home. It's going to be more school and apartments. Although it seems like Gaijin are heading towards Rozhok. That's the thing. It's risky to change your drop spot this late into the finals. It can add a surprise element to the teams around you, but it is still quite risky. We do see X-Team and Yasna and Pollyanna spread out quite effectively across the whole city all to themselves. They'll have a nice clean rotation down into the circle.
The fact that Polar Ace wasn't able to make over to their main dropping location in the fields of Gatka, they're going to be a little bit intertwined with Gauging and Gauging. I don't think they have the information as of yet. We'll have to keep that in mind as seeing if the stream is blocked on my side. Apparently, it seemed like we're okay for a second. That was a little bit unfortunate for us. But okay, no, the stream is definitely having some issues. Oh my God, wait, we'll have to do a little quick refresh, Reno. Sorry for that, guys. Hopefully, thing is going to be okay.
No worries.
Okay, that's a
little
little
bit
bit
fine for me anyway.
It's fine for me now. Seems like it's okay. I had a little bit of an issue, but that's okay. It happens from time to time. It is live after all. But yeah, Polar Ace definitely thinking of trying to rotate away from this bridge as Gauging really trying to hold them down in that area.
We did see Bet Romania get a small knock onto a member of MVP, but that revive has come out through, and MVP are going to disengage away from the hills of Pachinki, going to opt to go towards that western side of the map. The good thing for them is, even though they are losing precious looting time, in theory, they know they have a bit more freedom around them when it comes to rotating into the phase 1 circle. Oh.
That's a 1. That's a 1 out of 10. I'm sorry. That's going to have to be.
That's a feels bad man moment.
That's a big feels bad man moment. Yeah, MVP, they're going to be continuing on their path. That's going to be able to see, well, a lot of refreshes happening over here. Not too sure what is currently happening on my side of things. I think that's a me issue. Hopefully, we'll be okay. It was okay at the start of the stream. There you go. Quick little refresh. Should be happening okay. And we'll check out things going to be happening.
Yeah, nicely done by Ket. Getting an early kill onto a member of Gaijin. It's very important for Polar Ace that they create that space around them, because where they currently are, it's not their normal drop spot. It's not their normal rotational starting point. And based on the phase 1 circle being kind of central on the map, there's a higher chance that if they don't, let's say, push back the side of Gaijin, maybe get a cheeky kill along the way, that they can get knocked out by Gaijin on their rotation in. So creating that little bit of space is just going to be so helpful for Polar Ace coming into phase 2, phase 3.
Hopefully they'll be able to have some good rotations coming into this one. Overall, we said it, the plane path and the circle, they work pretty well together, so we shouldn't be having too much of an issue in this early stage. We should be having some pretty chill rotations overall. So yeah, just going to be a really fun time in the early stage, and especially because now that we're in such a stressful moment of the tournament, that teams are going to be a lot more respectful of each other. Chances are, a lot of these teams, if they're going to see each other, they're just going to avoid it. And that means that when they avoid himself early mid-game, late game is going to be a little bit more team-heavy than what we had as of yet.
It's kind of critical point in a sense of, even though it's only the first game of the day, we talked about it already, only 4 more games left, but you don't want to start off the second day with a bad result. You don't want to start off the first game of the second day with a mistake. So you really want to nail those rotations perfectly. And yeah, you have a certain amount of control, but there's always a possibility where you can get caught out, where, you know, it's out of your control. So I'm expecting a more passive early game from a lot of these teams, threading the water as they move into a central location inside this phase 1.
Yeah, it should be pretty easy overall. Even the Real Deal, they're already going to be going for future location in the center of the circle. So we saw the circle, and they're very focused on the western edge. And with the current rework that they had happen and unfold on Erangel, there's a few different spots that are a lot more viable right now. For example, viable. You're not want to go, for example, in Yasnaya Fields right away, but it's a decent spot to play around if you're forced to play there now as they added a few dips. But Here it is, actually talking about dips. Gun is going to put a dip in the body of Azzy, as now Wolf's going to have to take a 1v2. Going to get pushed out of the window. That was a ballsy move, and he's going to be instantly shut down by the attempt of Wolves. And now Wolf's going to go for the flush. Of course, he doesn't want to lose that kill. He doesn't want to lose that attempt to pick up points, as he still can stand alive. And the real deal really struggling to push onto Wolves. He's holding that fight so damn well, Imperium. I'm surprised and genuinely happy with Wolves.
Wow, Wolf is just howling at the moon right now and chomping at the bit of taking down the members of the real deal. Azzy is knocked down. Nice kill on the spray. You like those puns, didn't you, Max?
Yeah, I just saw the clown. He heard the little pin coming out of the grenade. He's like, oh no, no. I don't like that sound. I'm gonna move away. But now the real deal. Got 2-1 split currently happening as he was raised up. I'm talking about Azzy. There it is with the Scar found Itro and Itro because of that grenade of hack shot. Instant Gyorka no way. So it fights the 1v1 trade off. The hack shot's going to be also traded out. Damn, it's really big fight of trades. And now Gun going to be down to Wolves. And Wolves put so damn low to the point where we'll get knocked away right after. Mamula V2 will still be looking pretty good. He's going to push his way forward. And during that time, normally Hackshot's going to get rezzed up. It could be turned once again in a 1v2. But what an intense fight happening in the early stage. I was not expecting this, Imperium. This is mental.
Yeah, after Wolf did a great job, Outro was, to say, a kind of tiny bit sloppy coming in on his own like that out in the open, paid the price. Herbs did get a great knockdown, but instantly clapped back by the members of the real deal. So it's coming on to a 2v2 right now because both teams have gotten a revive onto their team members.
Yeah, but it seemed like Clown will also get put back on his feet. And Gun, really the main issue here is that they pushed it in such a weird area. They pushed it uphill. They were just going through flat terrain. If they wanted to do it, they should have done a smoke road instantly. But they're going straight to Delve inside games. And he hears it. Shots will be coming out from the balcony. Can he find Herbs? Can he find Mamula V2? They're going to go straight on left behind the building, behind the walls to make sure they are safe. And inside games now, they're going to try and pin them down. But I mean, Gun, you guys are unlucky, fellas, from fight to fight in the early stage. And we're not even 10 minutes in. What is going on for them?
Guns are like, come on guys, can we just catch a goddamn break and breathe for more than a second? Nice grenade going out by Sands. It's not quite as sensational as we'd like to see, but if he can find maybe another one in the direction of a two-man team left standing for a gun, Mamula prones down, try and get himself and keep himself in this game.
Sensational. It's like a joke.
Yeah. To be honest, we really haven't done it as much as, you know, I thought we would in the PMCO. So
yeah, I'm happy. You restrained yourself until now, Imperium. You know what? I gotta say, I'm genuinely surprised and impressed by you. So you deserve. I'll give you a cube of sugar later on. You deserved it.
Aw.
We're good.
Only one cube?
Yeah, only one. I'll give you. Okay, two. There you go.
White sugar or brown sugar?
You greedy bastard.
What the?
But yeah, inside game now popping a lot of utility. As I said, they really want to pin down inside games and like Gun. They know exactly where they're localized.
Yeah.
So far, they really want to try and stop them from making their way anywhere. And I think if they got information also potentially Gun, they heard shots earlier, they might think that this team is definitely not full squad. And they definitely have the information as they saw the car rotation happen earlier. And here it is, they're making their way towards the building with the smoke to deny visibility away of Gun. To find himself Herbs now in the hands of Mamula V2 to find through the smoke, picking up one, picked up maybe a 1v3 right here. Gonna have to switch weapons, Sand. It's so damn close for them. He's so low HP. Mamula V2 will finally get eliminated, and that will be the first team taken out of the lobby. Gun, see you in game number 2 on Miramar.
Oh, Gun started this game in 14th with 16 points. It's not gonna help their cause going out first in game 1 of today's games. It is gonna benefit inside games though, because they were in the bottom of the barrel in 16th place. I was talking to Sands earlier on Discord, and you know, he was a little bit disappointed. He felt like he kind of somewhat, you know, let his team down. And I said, look, no, don't worry about it, mate. What's happened again, like with Bam about remaining, don't worry about it. The passes and pass go out. You have nothing to lose. Your back's against the wall. Do what you can in today's games. I said, look, that's what we're gonna do. And hey, it's working out for now.
And when you start from down below, it makes that comeback just even more sweeter. You know, just extra spicy. It feels good when it happens. But now, going to be panning over to the mountain next to Shelter. That's going to be Time to Shine and GSG Europe. You know, Time to Shine having some decent games yesterday. Actually having a good game on the Miramar, which you were speculating to maybe not happen, as a map on which they struggle quite a bit. And Time to Shine definitely proving that, yes, they are worthy of making it to the EMEA League. But now, let's see if they can show up to the party over here on day 2 and actually qualify in this top 4. It's still got a long way to go, but they're definitely in arm's reach to make it up there.
They're in a little bit of a tricky position. In between the logging area and Shelter is definitely not the easiest area to play around. Yeah, it's out in the open, and even disengaging away on phase 3 circle shift might not be the cleanest for them. Good thing is that they don't have to move right now, so they can just stay relatively safe, try and get some form of positioning. But when you look at where they are, they don't have that much information on the teams that are around them. So on that next shift, they're kind of going on that rotation, potentially blindly.
Essentially blindly, especially because since the new update of Erangel 2.0, there's a lot more dips, so it does also make it good to hide in those areas, but it's pretty hard to now peek more information from specific spots like the Harry Potter Tower and that dip of Time to Shine. So definitely in a position, an area where a lot of teams are still learning as time goes by, which is still nice to see there. That's why the scrims are here, to try and get them a little bit more ready. But these teams so far, they're just not going to move. But as you guys say that, Time to Shine, they're on a roll. Going to go for a little bit of a sneaky 2-2 split, as Naya taking a pretty heavy a lot of damage from Andalese Toad's DP28. Mancar rotation will be coming on through. Well, they're going to lose one player. They're so low. One more bullet of the DP28 will be enough. But they make it down on the slope of that terrain, make it to the compound where Will and Daddy currently are, and they'll be ready to go and remain in this area. But that was a little bit stressful through that two-man split.
Yeah, but I think hey, look, it worked out for now. I kind of worry maybe it was a little bit jumping the gun because the blue zone's closing on phase 2. They don't know where phase 3 is going to go. But at least for the temporary, hey, we are much safer, we're in a compound, it was nicely executed by Time to Shine. Well done indeed. X team, one of those teams that did get a chicken dinner yesterday but couldn't really follow up with the consistent performances. They'll want to do that a bit more aggressively or a bit more, accurately in today's games.
Yeah. I mean, aggressively, like yesterday on that Sanhok game, they got the chicken dinner because, mostly because of that circle shift, but they used it really well. You know what? So definitely cranking up that aggressiveness would be really good for them to create the opportunities instead of having the opportunity come into them. I think that's going to be a big change that they're going to require. But the circle going actually over to Milta. The mountain's still in play. Wow. And because of that movement of Time to Shine, now the in-between inside games in Milta and Opto got GSG on the mountaintop. So without really realizing with this next circle shift, they're somewhat sandwiched up. Ooh, a little bit risky.
And see, here's the thing. What a lot of teams don't know is that the circle on the southeast, to begin with, a lot of teams are thinking there's going to be teams down between Milta Power and Milta. Yeah. So there's less chance teams are going to, let's say, go for a risky rotation around there. So I get why the likes of X team might not do it or might not go for that wider rotation. But what they don't know, we do. And we know that there is plenty of space for you to go.
UDR Killers moved away from Pachinki, making their way into Milta. But Milta, there's not too many teams there as of yet. They're still inside games further on the south of their location so far. Got to keep that in mind. Here it is. UDR Killers are going to go in one by one. They're going to be normally safe and sound. They see Sand. Oh my god, the shots off Sandra on the DP28. That was damn clean, boy. But now Sand's going to be forcing a response. Backfire is going to quickly run over to Sand to pull off the res. But UDR Killers not really looking for the fight. They just wanted the west side of Milta under control. And so far they have it.
And there is also Clay GLA around there looking to rotate in towards Milta Power. Do you think, Max, that phase 3, it's a bit too early to commit to Milta?
Sorry, your voice cut from my side a little bit, Imperium. Sorry for that.
Sorry, do you think that phase 3, it's a little bit too early to commit to Milta?
I think it's okay as long as you're still on the edge. Like, you even said this, this is almost your keyword that you like to say all the time. Like, if you want to go full compound finish, you want to play on the edges. And if you play on the edges, if the circle does shift away, it does facilitate the entire rotation and process of leaving the compound. So I'm okay. But what I'm seeing right now, for example, UDR is maybe going a little bit too deep inside. So as long as they keep that in mind, they should be okay.
And even Clay GLA, I think, there's a certain level of safety that they can rotate back from where they came from, using that beach side, using the kind of low ground dip by the road of the bridge of Milta. But either way, it's definitely going to be risky. And as Raxman is popping up a couple of shots towards the side of UDR Killers, maybe they realize they have to be a little bit closer to the edge of Milta, and they might want to fight their way over there against the likes of UDR Killers.
Maybe a few action coming on through. Like, we see exactly what's currently happening in this compound. The fight won't really be happening because it's got so many buildings and teams can just hold on to. So we're not really expecting too much action to happen inside Milta itself. It's mostly where the teams are going to be rotating through. That's where the action should be unfolding pretty heavily. So we'll try and keep that in mind. Now, really, I want to see the camera, especially up north, because I want to see the situation we had earlier with Time to Shine, where they put himself in a really tricky position. And I think that those rotation going downhill into Milta, when you go already 2 teams up top, there's going to be Clay GLA and UDR Killers. They can definitely, they're just going to be the Dwan of the northern teams.
And we've seen Time to Shine, Naya take down a member, Gaijin. It's not good. Is that the whole Gaijin team eliminated? I think so. I think that's Gaijin out for the count as we're down to 14 teams. The circle has centered up quite nicely around Milta, but I still think it's risky to commit to it. That fight that we had between The Real Deal and gun, that compound, those buildings are in play, which is going to be very easy for Godsend. Plus, it's relatively high ground that you're able to get a lot of information for. If you do stick towards a northeast side, that is quite risky, and you're really banking on the next phase heading in your favor, because going down that mountainside, that's going to be quite risky.
I mean, down there, you got time to shine. The Real Deal, even potentially Bloodline can go for a sneaky third party onto that one. So Polar Ace, GS Europe, even Red Reserve and Scrim Farm, they got to be very cautious of how they want to approach this one. Talking about approaching an area, they're remaining getting straight into the backside of Inside Game, down south of Milta. And they're going to potentially have a sneaky fight. Or actually going around the coastline. That was hella risky. That is super risky.
It is, especially on phase 4. That's, you know what, not saying it won't work out because it is Milta, but let's see what does happen. We're seeing on the feed, Dennis is knocked down by Dale, so it's definitely not off to a good start for them.
Not a good start indeed. Red Reserve now thinking of how they're going to push their way into the circle. They got information on Polar Ace a little bit earlier also, so they know that if they want to push their way in, you got Bloodline down below of the mountaintop. You also got yourself Polar Ace on this location. Red Reserve, if they want to make their way into the circle, or you're just going to have to full send down, basically pull a Bet Romania they did next to Milta itself, or you're going to have to breach a team. There's no easy way out of this one.
What they could do is they could make it a little bit easier for them, considering they came from around the North George area. They should have a little bit of information on the northwest side of the circle. They could go downhill, but we'll look at Bloodline catching out Victor and confirming that kill.
I said it, there was two ways. Or you go passive and you just try and pull on through, or you go for the fight onto a team. Here, they're trying to go for the more passive approach, and seemed like that one was maybe not the best decision, at least for Victor, as Victor was taken out almost instantly. Frost able to actually wrap around, and I think the entire team maybe should have gone for that strat. Now Polar Ace up top, Bloodline from down below. They were in the same position Time to Shine were earlier, but Time to Shine, they gave up on that location really quickly because they know it was super risky. And Red Reserve here really struggling to hold a good foothold on the mountain.
It's also more the fact that they're separated right now, so they're really spreading themselves quite thin. It's going to make it not easy for them, and Kaylas has been dropped to his knees by Whiskey of Polar Ace.
Here it is, able to find himself class. The IGL will be out. Red Reserve really struggling in this one. Really lost 2 teams in this lobby. Might be losing a third very, very soon. But Polar Ace seem like they understand that their time is now gone. They're going to have to move out from this location. Back into the buggy they go, and potentially make it a little bit further into the dip, which just a temporary foothold. They're very on the edge, maybe looking for where the next circle will be going before tumbling down, because you never know if it goes back to the mountain with a super hard shift. I mean, Polar Ace, they could legit have the game given to them on silver platter.
Yeah, but it also...
That grenade just like...
Oh my lord, the man's dangerous as it is, but coming in onto that shot and just taking down member of Red Reserve is just so confident on his own as well. That could easily have gone against him.
Yeah, that was a super risky play, but now he's got a foothold for the rest of his team, an anchor point, and literally the entire team. If the next circle is pretty much on that location, they can just send the entire squad over there. Sure, you might be vulnerable to grenades. That's the issue that happens with Harry Potter Towers. If a team gets close, 1-2 grenades from up above and down below, and that's basically a team squad wipeout done very easily. As talking about the circle, it's going to be good, actually really centraled up, and the real deal, they're the only team in dead center position of this circle. Maybe it's their game to do. Can they see if they can take it just like X team yesterday on Sanhok? Oh, wait.
Oh, that circle shift. Oh, that's a harsh one indeed. The real deal are in the center part. It's not going to be too bad for them. MVP also looking pretty good, but they'll have to move across the road if the next phase goes against them.
Yeah, it might be happening very soon. The circle is going to be having definitely a pretty tough for the teams who are playing around the edge. GLA going to have to push inside UDR Killers. UDR Killers did retreat a little bit more on the edge of the compound, which is what I wanted. I was a little bit skeptical of them going in the center. It might be a little bit too risky. It seemed like this will be okay to hold on to. It's now GLA. They got to think, how do we approach the circle? How are we going to push out through? Do we want to do like Red Reserve, go passive and just roll on by? Or do we want to go for the breach? Now is their decision to make.
Well, the good thing is that they have Tonic inside the circle, so they do have that that kind of checkpoint, that player inside, that reference mark that they can send themselves into. But now X Team are going to wrap around Milta's side. That's very risky because they have the fear of being swiped from both sides, but they're making it work for now.
They're making it happen. Scrim Farm right to UDR Killers. That was an interesting rotation, but also another fight's going to be happening. That's going to be X Team fighting versus GSG Europe. X Team going to be having Zombie knocked right away. They still got 3 players on their side, similar to also GSG Europe as Kamara goes down on his knees. But they're both going to be in the dip, and especially, I mean, GSG Europe and X Team, they could be shut down by UDR Killers and Scrim Farm, but so far they're focused on each other, which is going to be really lucky for them. But it seems like here it is. We're going to be having UDR actually going for a sneaky third party from down below, and they are going to be struggling to hold on to it. And GSG, they know that. They know they're in the really, really scary position, so instant smokes will be coming out to save their lives.
Can I also just say, this is not an easy circle to play around. I will say that. It doesn't look too bad, but it is incredibly difficult because the high ground area, it's high ground, so coming down, it's also relatively out in the open, and you're trying to shift, you're trying to decide in between the deep city of Milta and the open ground field area around it. It's just not easy indeed. The decisions that are being made, got to give a shout out to every single team because they're doing their best to make it work.
I think this is very clear. I mean, we had great rotations happening yesterday, and today is also really fun to see. Grenades coming out from Dale of Inside Games. Going to be connecting a little bit too early, so unfortunately a little bit too overcooked. Godsent, they got a thing. I don't want to play around this one because they are really the team that's going to deny Inside Game from moving on forward. But the smokes deny visibility away from Godsent. This is great for them to get close and personal. Chuck those grenades right into the building of Godsent. Abby might go down because of that nade. No, he's going to explode a little bit too soon. But no, hey, be careful. They're going to show themselves there. Oh, the grenade coming out from the side. And Inside Games picking up 2 kills on Godsent. Up to 7. Godsent eliminated in 12th position. I mean, what a start of this game it is.
But also Inside Games bouncing back hard. They are ready to fight to make it into the top 4, and they are setting themselves up. Still 11 teams and 29 players. So as we get in, there's not that many placement points available if you go out this early on. Andy from X Team gets knocked down. Clay GLA, they're fighting in towards the side of Milta. UDR Killers are looking to kill their run in this game 1.
Got Scrim Farm now over to Clay GLA. They are definitely on a roll in this building. Now, since his goal going to go for the small res onto his ally, they're going to be back as a 2-man team. But UDR Killers, a lot of pressure on them. And really, do they want to take the fight, or do they want to try and just potentially crash inside the circle onto the compound of Inside Games? They've got to think, where do you want to go? Do you want to take the slow or the quick approach? And now UDR Killers, here it is. They're going to be taking the cars, getting ready to go. As yes, Europe, the smokes bought them just so much time. And now, because of the carcasses of their cars, they've just got a mini compound for them to hold on to. So yes, Europe, they're safe for now, but they're not in circle, and they're going to go through so many teams. They're going to struggle so much.
That's what I was thinking. It's like, yeah, they're looking good for now, but the blue zone closing in, they're gonna have to move, and they're gonna have to move soon. What they could do is maybe try to trickle in an edge around the blue zone and the edge of the circle, but it's still not going to be easy. After some Bloodline, you can see he's pushing in towards the members of Inside Games. All the while, UDR Killers have disengaged away from Milta, effectively still up as a full squad max.
Oh, time to shine the real deal. Here it is. The clash of the Titans going to be happening so close to each other in the overall standings. Let's see which one will be coming out on top. It's now time to shine. They got the bottom side of this building. As the real deal, they got the top side, making it the grenades could be really easy to throw from down below up above, and vice versa. They still got a 4-man team for the side of Time to Shine. This could be huge. And Time to Shine, their team that we know, they got some history. They are the OGs of the European region, and they need to try and take this fight. But Hatshot jumping from the balcony, going to be almost instantly lasered away by Time to Shine. The real deal now down to 2 players. It's going to be Azzy and Clown. Grenade coming out. He sees him, Clown. If he didn't have the grenade in hand, that was going to be an easy kill for him. But now they're pushing their way upstairs. The mollies did come out, so you know what? They can't stop that push from happening anymore. Azzy's going to be able to trade it off. Now Clown in a 1v2 with the barrel, picking up 1, picking up 2. Clown, maybe the clutch. It's the clutch happening for the real deal. They barely survived by the skin of their teeth, and Clown will get the res onto Azzy. What?
The pre-nade, the Uzi, the double knock, the third knock, the squad wipe, the real deal are fighting for the top 4. We're getting into the final 17, 15 players left standing, all the while with the blue zone closing in. It's bound to go away from the compound that we saw the epic fight ensue. UDR Killers once again moving forward into the circle. 6 kills, full squad.
MVP Gaming, bye-bye. See you later, Alligator. MVP out in 7th. 6 teams still remain. UDR Killers up to 7 kills. I mean, they popped off yesterday. Final game of the day, picking up their first chicken dinner in the finals. Might they do the back-to-back win? I mean, they got so much terrain down in the southern side, but yet no one, and I mean no one, is in this circle, Imperium, and everyone's going to try and fight for that position. The real deal, their tactic, go for the smoke road, go to the tree, but Az is going to be instantly lasered away as Clown's still standing on the balcony, and those smokes tick away. The real deal might go out in 6 very soon to the hands of Inside Games.
You might be thinking for UDR Killers, but you're in the valley, you're by the road. That's surely risky. No, on this circle, this is the best place to be, other than hell, of course, because you all love a little bit of hell. But this is hell on high water as UDR Killers going to cook up a grenade. Focus ready, strike on the Inside Games. Not a smoke being thrown out by Backfire, trying to create a little bit of space. Relax. There's no way you're getting revived up. All the while, Elusive of Polar Ace got himself and his team into the top 6. It's not the result they exactly want, but definitely going to be a good start for the day too.
This is a funky game, and I'm liking every single second of it. Bloodline, they got himself the chicken dinner yesterday on Erangel. Let's not forget that. And you know what? Will they be the kings of Erangel? Can they take every single chicken dinner in the finals on this map that everyone knows and love? We'll have to wait and see. But sneaky elusive up there. You know what? Getting a little bit sneaky. And going to be getting rid of his backpack. He is going full mode on the snake finish. But no, he's still going to go aggressive. Sees inside game. But now he takes some shots. That gives information over to where Alan is. Also, you've got to be very careful about that. Bloodline going to be close enough for Neurofen to get those nades inside. Will it connect? Oh, he doesn't find himself one onto backfire. Greatly done, but Dale is going to be instantly responding over on the side of Bloodline. Athis and Alan will still remain. But Bloodline now struggling a lot, and they're going to have to move very soon because their compound is not in the circle Imperium.
It's not going to be easy indeed. Look at that spread by UDR Killers. It might not look like much, but they are getting so much control as the blue zone's closing in on this phase 7. Phase 8 does pop up. Bloodline could still pop on and get some clean swipes on the UDR Killers, but the amount of shots that UDR Killers are shooting up, they're suppressing every single team around them. They are saying to every single team, hey, we are here. We are ready to take you out.
Oh my god, UDR Killers, you guys are the border patrols on this location, not allowing anyone through their nets. As X team, they got still one player. That's going to be Zombie. They scout him out, but Zombie able to spray back with the Uzi. Not doing too much, but at least putting pressure. And I thought that Ulysses maybe shouldn't fully engage onto this one. They just can't spot out Zombie, and Zombie's taking actually damage from the blue zone. He's going to have to potentially get up very soon in a bit. But he's just going to crawl his way a little bit up to the side to make it a little bit harder for UDR Killers to find his location. But so far, he's still got UDR Killers as a 4-man team. 4v1, v1v1. This is a UDR's chicken dinner if I've ever seen one.
Oh, if they lose it now, I'll tell you what, would be one of the biggest throws. But you know what? I have confidence they're not going to throw. They're going to close this one out in style of Pan being out so his footsteps aren't being heard. I love the fact that UDR Killers are still respecting every single team around them, that they aren't being too aggressive.
How are we going to go on this one? We lost another team. That's going to be the real deal. Iron 4. 3 teams still remain. He's still got X team. He's still got the side of Polar Race. They see Zombie. Zombie puts so down below. But one more bullet. That's all you need from UDR Killers. The jump shot focus will connect with the PP Bison. And now he's still got one sneaky player. Akon, the elusive, will be able to take second position. And UDR Killers make it happen. Back-to-back chicken dinner over here in the finals. What an insane way to kick off the day.
13 kills as well. So that's going to be one of the highest point scoring games we're seeing in the finals. 33 points in total. It was the control, right? It was the fact that I was worried about them going into Milta a bit too early. You counted up by quoting what I say myself in terms of staying on the edge of the city. They did that as opposed to as an example Clay GLA, but it was the fact that they were able to disengage away from Milta without anybody going down was just the reason, one of the main reasons why they controlled and closed out that game, because it meant that being up as a full squad, it was risky for them to be kind of, you know, in that border patrol area in the Valley of the Two Hills. But being as a full squad, they were able to just control it so dominantly and take and swipe at teams around them without, as I said, being too aggressive. It was really greatly executed by them.
I'm also so happy it was just like the real deal, like how they just took that 5 versus time to shine at one point. It was literally just so goddamn clean. Like Clown, the nade, he just knew I'm gonna get the 1v2 with the barrel, then the grenade's gonna explode just on the perfect time to get the final kill on time to shine. That was perfectly orchestrated and able to pick up just 4 kills along the way on time to shine and get an extra positioning point through the process. Great stuff. Gun will be taking 16th position overall. And Scrim Farm, a little bit of a low performance there. 14th position was 0 overall kills. A little bit of an L there.
It is a little bit of an L. Also a bit of an L for Red Reserve, only get 1 point, so it could definitely hurt. And this is kind of one thing that I talked about in terms of, you know, any of the teams in the bottom can turn it around. You know, I talked about how, yeah, Red Reserve, the top 3, got 3 good games in a row, but can they follow it suit? Can they continue that run? Yeah, we've seen it with UDR Killers, but hey, even Godson, they only got 3 points. We're going to see a huge shift and change in the overall standings.
Yeah, I'm just going to be updating them very soon, Imperium. And we'll see how that's going to be happening. Also, Facecam just sent... boom, there you go. Should be completely fine with us, but there you go. The overall standings are going to be updated. Before that, we're going to be seeing our Imperium, National Imperium over there. There you go. Here he is. And now back over to global standings we go. And boom, boom, refresh everything. And here we go. Overall standings after 5 games. Who's going to be on top after this? Here we go. UDR Killers, of course. Matt, 99. My OCD is once again triggered.
99 red balloons. And the question is, based on what we saw in the spring split, is that UDR Killers confirming their top 4 spot? I don't think it's definitely not the case, but being 37 points ahead of second place, that is such a massive cushion with 3 games to go.
Exactly. You said it already yesterday on the broadcast. I just wanted to remind you, to remind us, should I say, in that way. You said that there was a number 1 position that was qualified with a specific amount of points in the spring split. How much was that exactly?
First place or fourth place?
First.
It was 100 points of first place team.
Yeah, you know what? So if it was spring split, basically UDRs, they basically done it again. So you know what? UDR Killers looking damn good in the process, but Red Reserve, Godsend, Bloodline still holding on strong. Bloodline actually able to take a few extra points their way. You know what? Looking good.
Look how much closer it is, though, Max. That's the thing. It's not necessarily the fact that we're seeing a huge shift, although Scrim Farm dropping down to 7th. It's definitely oof for them. However, I know they can bounce back. But with even a better result from Inside Games, moving them into the fold a little bit more, they're in 29 points. You know, it's like 62 points for Red Reserve and 50 points for Scrim Farm in 7th. That's only 12 points dividing essentially 6 spots.
I mean, Inside Games, you know, going from that position up there is really good from Inside Games. They're going up to now 29 points. Overall, they can still be really proud of this performance, but it's still a long way to go. You still got 3 more games to come out. You're going to have some Vikendi, you're going to have some Miramar, going to have some Sanhok, so you've got to be good on every single one of these maps. But UDR Killers shown that they are the kings, and you know what? It's just rightly deserved overall, because I remember into the spring split, they qualified, and it was just such a big surprise for a lot of people. And I think that, like, a lot of people were like maybe a little bit critical of them, myself included, and I think it was rightly deserved because they were just getting some really big results when it's completely unexpected. But like literally right now, they're a team that, if you tell me to say off the top of my head right now which are the best teams in Europe, UDR Killers pops in my mind almost instantly, and they're just proving it there. Like 99 points over 5 games, that is huge.
I've always said that, look, the team that qualifies is a team that deserves to be there, and I always said that the second UDR Killers came out on top and secured the World League spot, I said to every single player, every single person, said they qualified, they deserved it, simple as that. But I also had my doubt of how well they were going to be able to keep it up, how well they were going to be able to perform in the World League. Yeah, it wasn't top 3, yeah, it wasn't the absolute best, but 7th place in the World League, they carried that experience over to the finals of the PMCO EU. They didn't have to do the group stage, they didn't have to do the semi-final, but what they are doing right now in the finals is that they are proving themselves to be the best team in Europe, and that if you want to be the best, you have to beat the best.
And there you have it. We can't beat the best if you're the best. You know what? That's at least going to be an easy one for them. But there you have it. That's going to be game number 1 in the books. Congratulations for the back-to-back chicken dinner over yesterday and today. Also, for the side of UDR Killers, showing they are indeed the kings of Europe. We're going to go for a short break as always, and we'll be back shortly for our next game, which will be on Miramar. And all about rotations. The rotations have been damn spicy, so let's see if it's also going to be the case on Miramar. Myself and Imperium will be back in just a bit.
Roy's countering. Percocet gets the knock.
Oh, another one.
Quick counter.
The trade. Sam with the drop shot from behind. Unsuccessful on that. J7 coming in for the support.
down. Roy's countering. Percocet gets the knock.
Oh, another one.
Quick counter.
The trade. Sam with the drop shot from behind. Unsuccessful on that. J7 coming in for the support.
Thank you so much for waiting. And man, back-to-back chicken dinner over the last game of yesterday and the first game today. UDR Killers, they on a roll, baby. But let's see if some other team can try and get some similar results, as we're going to be heading over the desert map of Miramar in 50 seconds. Woo! Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go.
So hype.
Indeed, baby. I'm absolutely hyped. It's just kind of like, as I said, I'm saying this to you kind of during the break. I was expecting a bit more of a seismic shift in the standings, but it was only really Bloodline that kind of really pushed themselves up there and made that extra difference. Like I did mention though before we went to the break, it is overall a lot closer between second place and as an example 8th or 9th. So it's, I would say right now the cutoff point, and I'm gonna say right now because the asterisk is that every team in my opinion has a mathematical chance to still qualify, but I think the cutoff point right now is 9th place, which is the real deal, on 41 points, because they're only 18 points away from 4th place. But they do need that kind of clutch game. We saw Clown pull off a clutch against Time to Shine. The whole team needs to pull off that clutch game.
Exactly. We want some clown moves everywhere. Not in a bad way. No, not like we don't want like funny plays everywhere. We want some clown player-worthy moves. As here it is, the plane's going to be once again high into the sky. And while we're going to be seeing this plane path coming out, we're going to be seeing it going from Monte Nuevo all over to El Azahar. I'm going to mention Mercy Gammon in the Twitch chat saying, Imperium, are you related in any way, shape, or form? You know what you're going to say to Bray Wyatt. Tell us right now the story.
Yeah, I am. I'm related to Bray Wyatt. I'm Bray Wyatt's brother. Not a lot of people know this. My second name is Wyatt. That's a fact. But please don't tell anybody, because I do know the Fiend, and if you anger me, I'll have to set the Fiend off on you. That's just, and his sister Abigail will be thrown out there. But tell you what will also be thrown out there, this plane trajectory. The teams are throwing themselves out of the plane and heading towards their drop spots.
Here it is. See where teams will be going. There you go. It's related. It's been proven, guys. Please do not clip this, or otherwise we're in a lot of trouble.
Anyway.
We'll see where it's going to be going. But UDR Killers, again, actually very close to the side of X Team, as they usually happen. Normally, they like to play around the area of Monte Nuevo, so this is not going to be a surprise to us, as Polar Race Inside Game's going to go further down south. Overall, the teams that have the drop-in location right under the plane path, like Godsend, Scrim Farm also, this is going to be very quick for them to get the loot. Engaging, once again, going for the very safe place of Torre Ahumada.
Ooh, this phase 1 circle is very complementary to the plane path. It's very complementary to GSG, because instead of them instantly going for the copper area, they're surprisingly looting up crater fields first, which I kind of get because it's much easier, so they're looting up initially a lot quicker. I think they might head towards the copper area with a couple of vehicles. It would make sense. But either way, I really like this phase 1.
I really like it too. I think it's a pretty nice one. We don't want to see like hard circles to make the game complicated, especially in the finals. You don't want these chicken dinners just related to randomness. You want it to be based on skill and teams putting off good rotation, good fights, good breaches, and everything all around. So good circles, at least in the early stage, are always nice to see. But we know in this most recent update that circles might not always be what they seem to be. And they might just hide a sneaky phase 8 circle at the very end.
It's just kind of like, just throws a curveball out there, but that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. And that's why I always talk about kind of the law of percentages, in terms of if there's a lower percentage of you avoiding a team by rotating in a certain direction based on your knowledge of the teams around you, then you should look to execute that rotation. But anyway, we did see Bet Romania get a couple of shots, and I think even a kill over onto MVP. And now, instead of Bet Esports, Scrim Farm looking for the players of MVP.
I mean, MVP, they're currently in 12th position, which I think that we can both agree on. It's not a good position. It's not where you want to be. So MVP, they can't afford to lose anyone in the early stage. And they did not lose anyone. They still got Neymar. They got the entire team still up. So I'm not sure who got eliminated in this lobby as of yet. We'll have to see later on as we see all the teams' standings. Scrim Farm, they're just going to be pushing out from their compound, which is, in my opinion, a little bit risky. If a team got a great angle, it could be a little bit of a scary spot. And Scrim Farm going for the 4-man car rotate. Just be careful. Keep that in mind.
It is something that can be very scary. It's not the fact that okay, now they're switching it up. That's pretty good. What I like is that they're opting to go for that Picado looting position. It's their normal looting spot, right? And with this phase on circle being kind of relatively central around Picado, I think it makes sense for them.
I think it does. I like it quite a fair amount. Otherwise, like big rotations, one I'm really hoping to see a nice clean rotation of, that's going to be Red Reserve. They dropped himself an Impala. That's going to be actually out of circle on phase 1, which is a little bit tricky, but they're going to be on the southern eastern edge. What they can do, rotate up north, where gating like to play towards Torre Ahumada, rotate a circle through the northern side. Really, Red Reserve, I think that they could have a really clean rotation on this phase 1 at least, because the northern edge, maybe about like a third of this northern circle side is completely unoccupied and so much room to play with.
Yeah, definitely. They have one of the easiest rotational points into the circle right now. And when it's easier for a team to rotate into phase 1, it's in theory easier for them to prepare for phase 2 rotation, because they can maybe send a scout a little before they can have a bigger spread across the terrain that they do move into on phase 1. And also, it's that kind of lack of pressure, right? It's that breathing space. It's that level of, hey, let's communicate as a team on what we see around us, as opposed to coming across a team or two on phase 1 and you're focused on that fight rather than where to position yourself on phase 2.
You see that drift of Na'Vi though? Like,
yeah, I know. I didn't want to cut off my sentence, but I noticed it. It was nice.
Man, it reminds me like when I passed my driving license, and everyone says, like, I get a lot of compliments about my parking. You know this, Imperium. I just park randomly in the city, and like I'll get like little tickets on my car saying parking fine.
No way.
Yeah, they say parking fine.
Okay. Oh my god.
Say my parking is fine. It's good. So I'm pretty happy.
I can't believe I fell for that. And 2,
I don't have a car. It was a lie.
That was a really great play on words. Okay, that's it. I'm not even mad, yo. I'm not even mad. That's just, oh man.
There you have it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh wait, all them, they keep on going Godson. They already moved away from San Martin, and now they're going to be pushing to the compound of Clay GLA, and Molly's like, wait, there's a team over here. I think he scouted, and unfortunately they did not have the information on a team getting into this. They seemed a little bit unprepared, but still they able to find himself a few extra knockdowns. One knockdown going away already, but Raxman able to come back onto Rollkiss, making things a little bit more even on the side, but Godson still down to 3 players. Navi taking a lot of damage, be able to trade it off himself, and now potentially trying to go for the res on his fallen teammate, which is Rollkiss behind that wall. But Yunka, he's slowly going to be making his little way over to the fight as Reese, and on the downside section of this building, of this compound, already potentially expected by Yunka.
Yeah, this is great grenade being thrown out by Yunka. I think he has an idea that Reese is there. Nice counter grenade by Reese just to send back Yunka. Yunka might be looking to possibly get a revive. Is it worth the risk? Might be indeed, but Marty is going to confirm the knockdown of the Sensei God, leaving Yunka the last player standing. Cooking up a pre-grenade. Could a clan move being executed for Clay GLA? I don't think so, because he's being suppressed by the members of Godsend.
Here it is, Yunka, last man army, able to find himself potentially 1v2. He's going to go for the prone play. Oh my god, it was so close. Coming out from Raxman and also Yunka at the end there. They could have maybe pulled it off as a 2-man team, but it's not going to be happening. Godsend will remain alive as a 4-man squad, but that had my heart beating there. That prone play from Yunka was really, really close.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, you know, we'll always say that Godsend are a fantastic team, but one bad performance can set them back. They didn't really have the best of performances in game 1, so if they had gone out early in game 2, it could have been another step in the wrong direction. Well, of course, that hasn't been the case. They've gotten that squad right. 4 kills on the board in the early parts of this game. We haven't seen phase 2 yet. We've always seen a team go down.
Yeah, we're going to be having one team out instantly in the start of Miramar, which really doesn't happen all that much on Miramar in the early stages, especially like on this final day. You're expecting teams to like just be very careful, but I mean, Godsend, they're already high up in the standings, right? Just like, no, we're going to take fights. Like, we know kills are going to be the difference, and they don't want just like a random top 4. They were looking for top 2, and if they take this chicken dinner, they could even potentially aim on the long run for that number 1 spot and take it away from UDR. So Godsend, they're on the roll.
Oh no, oh no, UDR. Full squad in one vehicle.
Oh no. Imperial's been playing a lot of Euro Truck Simulators. He knows that this is not how you do it. Okay.
I actually have.
He has. There you go. Learning how to drive in PUBG.
what can I say? It's kind of it's oddly soothing playing like Euro Truck Simulator and like, you know, just listen to a bit of music. It's oddly cathartic because you're just relaxing. You're doing a bit of driving, unloading a couple of goods. Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Very relaxing. The complete opposite of what we're having over here in a competitive PUBG Mobile side of things, where it's just about shooting and killing your foes. Now, God sent still. Now, the information I believe has been given over, especially by that hard rotation with the car, with the muscle car, so they definitely know that the team is going to be close by. The circle, not really too much to say. Does center up on some other team pretty nicely. But now we'll see exactly how UDR will go. And I'm seeing already a bit of action happening with UDR killers and also the side of Godsent. So it seemed like UDR, they want a piece of that cake.
I'm also a little bit surprised that Bloodline, you know, disengaged away so heavily from the power grid / hills of Picado area, because they could have definitely taken a firmer stranglehold of the high ground. Now, they might want to opt to go back there. We'll have to wait and see how they do shift out.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of a slow response from Godsend. They heard the car 100% for sure, and they just didn't went for the push. A lot of utility will be coming out from the side of UDR killers. They want to get involved with the side of Godsend. They want those 3 extra kills. They want to remain on top of the mountain, as they want to get over 100 points, which they're definitely going to be doing now. They picked up 1 kill. So here it is. They hit the 100 points already. That's done. Thank you very much. You fixed my OCD. But Marley behind that barrel. Marley, you're scaring me, man. If you want to move away from those barrels, that is going to be very risky.
It's also a little bit of tables turn for Godsend, because now they're in the position that Clay GLA were in previously. So I think that's part of the reason why they're maybe not being so aggressive. Also, if they have any idea it's UDR killers, which I don't think they do as of yet, they will of course be respectful of that. They are down to 3 players as well, which is something that they have to think about on position themselves effectively to defend this potential breach.
In the playoff, Bet Romania and the kill feed going down to the playoff Polar Ace. So Bet Romania, they can't really afford any more bad results. They need to get these good, consistent games in right now in the 3 last games. Golden Morado going to be over there. Could potentially try and puncture it. I think it's already been done, actually. As UDR killers, they're just going to slowly wrap around on the more southern side of this compound. But Godsent really not willing to do too much out of this one. Really waiting for them to push on their location. Oh, wait, that grenade. Oh, Marley down to mid HP. Oh, that was a clean one.
I still feel like that was a riskier grenade by Ulysses, because he easily being swiped out by the members of Godsend. But I think that's how controlling they feel inside this compound and pushing on to the members of Godsend.
That Reeves extremely low. One more grenade. That might be the one of Pocus. They'll be able to put himself a bullseye onto Reeves. Reeves will be able to heal up. And actually, oh man, he heals up just in time. If he didn't have time to heal, Reeves would be knocked right now. And they got so far 2-1 split. This fight is taking a lot of time, but especially got to keep in mind that there's an off-angle I was just about to mention of Nano. And here it is, able to find himself Marley. Now the man advantage is really crumbling in front of the very eyes of Godsend under their nose. And Raucus, he's already getting the hell out of here. And he's already in the fight, able to find himself Reeves and Raucus. Last man standing off the side of Godsend. He's moving away. He does not want to get involved. I mean, UDR killers dominating Godsend in this breach.
They seem like they're just wanting to steam through all of their opponents. Sandro could be get caught out by Raucus, though. Free fire going to be coming out. He's going to be inside the building. That's going to be the shot. That's going to be the swipe. That's going to be the squad wipe for UDR killers.
UDR killers. There you go. 4 kills. I mean, it just like, sure, it took some time, and I think that we potentially expecting the breach to go a little bit quicker, but overall, UDR killers, especially that flank from Nano, meticulous, so well executed and paid off so goddamn well, turning it into a double kill onto Marley, and also onto Reeves. Overall, that was really well played. And that's going to be another team taken out already. 2 kills down on Miramar. That was way quicker than what we've been expecting.
Really nicely calculated squad wipe for UDR killers, as Red Reserve do opt to go more central inside the circle, outside Hacienda del Patron. It kind of makes sense because they don't want to get stuck on the fields between water treatment and Hacienda on the phase 3 shift. So doing it early, it makes sense. And even though that phase 3 has opted to go more southerly than expected, it does make it a lot easier for the likes of Red Reserve to make it into the next phase.
This is a Godsend circle, and Godsend it out. They must be so salty because yesterday they picked up so many goddamn kills. They picked up 11 kills with the circle exactly like this, a little bit further down south for sure. But they took the mountain up north of Picado, dominating the team down south. If they were still alive in this one, they would have instantly rotated in, took a great position on the top of the mountain. Easy peasy. But unfortunately for them, they're out. Let's see which team will be the new Godsend in the lobby.
Could be Scrim Farm. They got the win in yesterday's game. Of course, it ended around the... was it? No, sorry, it was Red Reserve. It was Red Reserve. My apologies. But either way, Scrim Farm did have a strong result in yesterday's games because it ended around the Picado area, so that greatly benefited them. Can they do the same again today?
I'll keep that in mind, as also GSG are going to go for a little bit of fight onto the mountaintop. I think that here GSG a lot more quicker than Gauging. So you know what? Now they've got the high ground. They can see exactly where the players of Gauging are. But Andalite taking a little bit of a slow approach onto this fight. So you've got to be careful. They're going to pull on this engagement. Gauging. A little bit of a two-man split here, Lord. Oh my god, great grenade from Levy. Randomly thrown on over. Able to also spray down to Meow. Red Reserve on the backside. Even can go for third party if they really want to get involved. And there you go. That's going to be their side of Gauging down to only one play. It's going to go for sneaky res onto the backside. But here, that was a rotation that really in the first place should not have happened without gathering information in the first place. And Gauging, they're going to pay the heavy price of a double death.
But I love the fact that GSG are just kind of really grabbing a stronghold at the edge of the circle. Now, of course, it is hurting them. They are being somewhat third party by both UDR and Red Reserve. But the two members are knocked down in the back line. Rafik and Andalito comes in to nearly get the squad up on the guys. Adobo! What? No way.
No, wait. Actually, Red Reserve actually helping out somewhat. Their team, because they were taking shots onto GSG right from a distance. They found himself a double knockdown. Adobo, he was literally 1 or 2 HP, able to heal up with that first aid into the smoke. And you know what? He's still out of the woods, Imperium. It's still a very scary spot to be in, but maybe a comeback from Gauging. What the hell?
Hey, look, you know what? He's still going to stay prone down. If he has 1 or 2 more smokes, it might help him. But either way, once those smokes disperse, he's a sitting duck. The good thing for him is that GSG cannot in any way focus on that last player of Gauging because they are firmly distracted by UDR killers and Red Reserve.
I think I just saw the play coming out from GSG Europe. They put 2 cars exploded in front of their third car in the back to protect it so they can go downhill, because at that stage, going downhill on the northern side, on the edge of the circle, by foot, is going to be basically a death sentence. So I think that's really good setup from the side of GSG Europe, as now we're going to be also seeing Scrim Farm. They're moving away from the southern western side, a power grid, and they're thinking of going maybe a little bit more over to the center circle. But here you got a lot of teams involved. You've got Inside Games, The Real Deal, X Team, and even Scrim Farm. Not really looking for this, and the circle centers up on the mountain once again, and no one is there. Scrim Farm, go for it right now. Leave.
Also, Polar Ace as well. You need to make your way towards the top of the mountain above Bacado so you can grab a bit of a stranglehold. But of course, with it being phase 4, there's still a lot of land mass available.
Inside Games, no, they're already rushing for it. Are they going to? No, or they're just going to hold on to a compound down below. I thought they would be the one to go for the kill, go for the push onto that position. They already got Jarger very close to the mountain, so I think that here's Scrim Farm. I mean, it should be an easy decision, right? Especially because they love, just like Red Reserve, playing on those high ground mountains, but just haven't went for the call yet, which I'm actually very surprised about.
We do see one of the members of Scrim Farm knockdown confirmed as Jody, leaving them up as a 3-person team, which is of course going to make it a bit harder considering it's Miramar. Luckily, because they do have a bit of a stranglehold inside the circle, they don't have to move too far. They can stay relatively safe, but as time to shine, they're looking for UDR killers.
Actually, I just saw why Scrim Farm didn't rotate early. They had no cars. They were doing it by foot. That explains why I don't want to go through that open area by foot. It's a little bit risky. But Inside Games and Gun, they're going to be having a little bit of their own clash on the build. And Shine also going to find some shots into MVP Gaming. MVP Gaming still looking good in this game. They've got decent position in the circle, which is not the case of Time to Shine. So they're going to have to push their way aggressively and pry their way open in this phase 4 circle. And unfortunately, behind them, they're also going to have UDR Killers, which is a really not a team you want to attack you from the back, because most of the time, UDR Killers come out on top.
Let's see what happens indeed. UDR killers are going to have to be very, very careful. They're not inside the circle. You have Bloodline to one side, Time to Shine on the other. Is Daddy going a bit too aggressive on his own? Yes, he's in the circle. He's got to make sure that he uses that position to his advantage without being swiped out. Because if he gets swiped out, that really takes a lot of strength away from Time to Shine's position.
Yeah, it really denies their Mirador. Daddy will not be able to gather more information for the rest of Time to Shine. So unfortunately, Daddy will have to stay alive for a little while longer to be able to really gather that information over. But they're just going to regroup back as a team. I think they also saw UDR Killers in the back of their heads. So they're just going to keep that in mind, be very cautious how they push their way into the circle. MVP Gaming still could be a really big issue for them. But Athis, grenade, and on top of Rafek, right behind that crate. Will it connect? Seems pretty good, but a little bit too overcooked, unfortunately, as now GSG going to have to push their way uphill. But we can both agree on this, Imperium, that GSG, they're in a lot of trouble right now to make their way through Bloodline.
They're in a lot of trouble, but they're also in the kind of position where they can swipe Bloodline from the back, and the hill they have to go up to, it's not a... It's a very harsh hill, although just as I say that Rafik gets knocked down, I was going to say, it's not a harsh hill, so in theory they can kind of go up that hill possibly without getting spotted out, but because Norfen and Athis are looking behind, it makes it a lot harder for GSG.
It's a very similar position to what happens on the mountaintop of Sanhok, right? You just got those small little corridors to go uphill. It's very similar in how you want to play those positions. Sandro saw Daddy for a split second of time to shine. Gonna go for the spray with the AK, but instant response coming out from the side. That's going to be very troublesome as Nai's going to get a little bit involved. And we got so far a little bit of a third party in the northern eastern edge, and teams really not wanting to go for this. Time to shine. They would love to push away, but still MVP Gaming pinning them down in this dip. If they move up north, UDR Killers there. If you go down south, you go yourself MVP Gaming. There's no easy way out of it. The only way really is to take the fight versus one team, and that team will be UDR Killers as they're slowly pushing on their location. Sandro going extremely low. He's in a dip. Grenades pretty easy to hit for the side of Time to Shine if they really want to, but the circle actually did center up somewhat on Time to Shine. So now they're gatekeeping actually UDR Killers away from the circle.
And they don't really have much of a distraction behind them, right? MVP are the furthest team away from them inside the circle. So Time to Shine can focus firmly on the teams that are outside the circle. I do want to say, the last remaining player, Gaijin, I think he's still in this game. I don't know if he got spiked out.
Not too sure. We'll have to keep an eye out for that onto the kill feed. Now Time to Shine, they allowed too much room for UDR Killers to push on their location. Now UDR Killers, they got the high ground position. Time to Shine, they're in a dip, making it very easy for grenades to connect. I mean, here, Time to Shine, in my opinion, they did a mistake to just move so far back. They're just giving the edge over to UDR Killers, and here it is, talking about them using the edge. They're using the edge of that cliff. They're off this mountain, but Sandro is going to be going down to the hands of Will with that scar. I'm trying now. They're trying to potentially reclaim that high ground position. They want to become the new kings of the mountain. They're holding on strong despite not having the advantage of the terrain. Time to Shine, you're going to need a really good fight to take UDR on here.
Normally, high ground is an advantage, especially in Miramar. But when you're climbing into the circle from the high ground, it is so much harder because the team that's gatekeeping you, they're able to peek and shoot, and use that low ground to their advantage. And that's exactly what Time to Shine is doing in this scenario.
Yeah, but the fact that UDR Killers, they got the high ground, despite them getting necked away, that just allows them to just retreat, go for the rest, heal up full health, then get ready to fight once again versus Time to Shine. Time to Shine, they don't really have that option available for them. Instead, on the northern side, you got another team that's slowly going to get involved onto UDR Killers and also Time to Shine from up above. That's going to be a little bloodline composition, making their way up into the northwestern edge. They can somewhat get involved onto UDR Killers. And UDR Killers, I think they have information, so a few smokes will be coming out to just give them a little bit more coverage up in the northern edge. But this game is definitely starting to be a little bit tricky for the teams on the edge. And I think so far, no teams on the center circle, if I'm not mistaken. No one's took that position as of yet.
I think other than possibly MVP, I don't know exactly if they've been taken out, but we'll have to wait and see. The focus is still firmly on this fight between Time to Shine and UDR Killers. I get why Time to Shine aren't pushing up towards UDR Killers, because you have to really play that low ground to your advantage, but you're allowing UDR Killers to get ever closer.
Oh, he's finally used. Oh, not quite able to get Ulysses there with the UC, but finally the second attempt will be the one to connect. Ulysses going to go down, but no, he's not trying to give enough time to go for the flush. And Ulysses will still remain in this lobby. Sandro and Focus both extremely goddamn low, but unfortunately for them, Ulysses will be taken away from this lobby. Time to Shine. I said it, despite having such a hard position to play with, they're putting off such a strong performance, such a strong engagement versus UDR Killers, giving them a run for their money. I'm genuinely impressed with the Time to Shine composition here.
But I'm also very impressed with how UDR Killers are slowly but surely creeping their way in. Yeah, it's so tough for them, but we'll find Sandro.
Oh my god, Time to Shine, they win the dip, and now it's going to be UDR Killers in the dip themselves, and they go out in nice position. Time to Shine giving them a shot of their own medicine, and they pick up 4 kills on UDR Killers. The brain players were mental. Huge brain, big PP. Oh my god.
But then again, Time to Shine did lose kind of, I think, one player in that skirmish.
Yes.
I believe so. So that's not going to help them coming into phase 5, phase 6 onwards. All the while down on the southern tip of the circle, we have X Team outside of you have Polaris on the edge. They're doing a similar strategy as Time to Shine, gatekeeping the teams around them.
MVP Gaming, they did get taken out earlier, meaning that Polaris were able to snatch away that position for themselves. But the reason why, now that I see what's happening in the south, I understand why no one was going center circle, because you had that big rocky mountain. Teams were going to shoot you from up above. That's why no one was playing on it, and that makes a lot more sense now that I see the entire circle. The Polaris trying to go for a little push. You see Frost of Red Reserve down below going to be struggling, and he's the last player of Red Reserve onto the eastern edge. They're going to struggle a fair amount, but now Bloodline, no point of contestment up north. They're just alone up there, and Bloodline, they're looking so passive that it's just paying off over here on Miramar.
This could be a Bloodline win. We'll have to wait and see. MVP did indeed go out previously. We have begged for mercy of X Team being swiped out by Scrim Farm looking for the members of X Team, but X Team are put under so much pressure by multiple teams.
Yeah, unfortunately, he just got prone up inside of those bullets, so a very unfortunate run of events for him. Polar Ace trying to split a little bit more, playing on the low edge, so teams can't really see them so far. He just wants to leave all the team in the south just taking a fight up against each other, so they don't want to get involved. They want to leave that happen and just aim for positioning points, which overall I think is a great call. We saw X Team only having one player, but still, they picked up 7 kills and it's currently in minimum 5th position. This is a great game from X Team.
It's a very solid, consistent result, especially off the back of them getting 11 points in game 1. That fight for the top 4 is definitely within their grasp, especially off the back of the lack of consistency in yesterday's games.
There it is. Oh no, you're gonna go for the backstab, Pekka. How could you do this to him? Long lives the king. But X Team taken out once again, 5th position with 7 kills. That is still a really, really strong game. Now it is Polar Ace from down below. They want to delete the fights happening down south. They let it happen. Now they want to get a little bit more involved. What the hell is happening? One player of Bloodline just going to be crawling his way into the car and just rolling on through into the circle on the northern side, going for a little bit of a sneaky split, 2-2 split, get more control in this game, checking what's happening up above and down below. This is a great split from Bloodline. I'm loving it.
Pekko and the rest of Scrim Farm team still have to make their way inside the circle. Polar Ace are creating that spread, but Pekko finds elusive. That's going to hurt Polar Ace as they try and fight to stay in the top 4 of this game.
Yeah, Scrim Farm, they don't allow the Raiders to come on through, so they're going to rush it. Pekko, Jar Jar working hand in hand to try and get the hurt onto Polar Ace. Pekko going to peek on up, going to go for the flush onto Elusive. But you know what? That's giving them just enough time to go for the res onto Ked, I do believe. And Ked, when he's into the late game, doing Ked things, going to be huge. He's going to be in that dip. Random sprays coming out from Scrim Farm could still have a really big impact, that the smokes will be slowly fizzling out of their lifespan. Once again, Bloodline, that 2-2 split working absolutely marvelously. And now they can just keep on pushing forward, especially nerfing at Allen. Like, I think this is a Bloodline chicken dinner that we're seeing happening here.
It is, but let's remind you that no team's inside the circle. So as they're moving their way in, yeah, they have that lovely spread, which gives them a possibly easier access to make their way in. But they're not inside the circle, and they only have 15 seconds until the blue zone starts closing in.
I like the play of Jada there. M24 play on phase 7. Don't see it happen too often. It's ballsy, but if you hit that sneaky headshot, that just might make the difference. So let's see how Scrim Farm can pull on through in this position. 5 kills going away off Polar Ace so far, despite losing Elusive. Also going to be looking at a really good performance right now. Talked to his Aegon earlier. They're really looking to try and qualify. They think they can make it, and they feel very confident. So overall, we'll see if Polar Ace can just thread in the needle. They can Jar Jar, a little bit of utility. Looks like a really good grenade. Oh my god, Ked fall down below. That was perfect. Perfectly cooked. Golden Ramsey would be proud. And now second one will be coming out. Round top of Jar. Oh my god. Jar Jar, the blue zone's right behind you. We've got to move away. Scrim Farm, we might just get eliminated. But Ked, what an absolute mad lad on that double grenade.
How is Jar Jar still alive? Ked, he's yet to spot out Jar Jar from behind. He might get swiped up. He does find Dexter, but not before Norfend finds Ked.
You know, taking that spray, you're going to be alerting away Bloodline. That's going to be them on Scrim Farm out in 3rd position now. Polar Ace, they're fighting for the chicken dinner. 9 kills, though. Going over to Bloodline. They're the Northern Kings. Kings of the North over here. Miramar has now taken a fight versus Polar Ace. Still got 2 players. They're going to go for the flush onto Ked, and that makes it 10 double digits, baby. Let's go, Bloodline. Let's see if they can make it 12. As Polar Ace, they're going to be picking up their 6th kill along the way. Also, a little bit earlier onto Scrim Farm. Now going for the push. Athlete's going to be going for the engage, making his way so far forward with the just random spray on the barrel. Savagex will go down eventually. They pick up another one onto the other player of Polar Ace, and they have it. This will be winner chicken dinner for none other than Bloodline with 12 kills to count for. What an insane game 2.
That last push by Aethys was, he just didn't stop moving and shooting, running and gunning. And it's that pressure that is so important coming into the late game, because one, it did help that he knew he had the backline support. Don't get me wrong. But to maintain the pressure, you're not giving your opponent a millisecond to breathe. And that suppression was just too heavy for Polar Ace to handle. However, it was still a great result for Polar Ace, getting 20 points in that game with 6 kills. Scrim Farm bouncing back off a poor game 1 to get 16 points in this second game. This is Miramar, baby. It's shown to be one of their strongest maps, and they're making it work.
I mean, I'm just keeping in my mind right now the huge plays of Time to Shine versus UDR Killers. Like, Time to Shine, in that dip. And I said it was going to be risky, and it was indeed. But the fact that they're able to find a few shots on UDRs, just make them retreat, go for the res to heal up full health, get ready to re-engage on time to shine. If we didn't see that too much, but actually they snuck away from the dip, took the mountain behind it. Then UDR killers, because they were going to be in the blue, they had to go down in the dip, and then they just reversed the entire situation on its head. And time to shine picked up 3 kills along the way. Like literally, time to shine. That was the big brain play of this game. And yeah, I can't wait to see if they can try and finish in top 4 at the end.
And the end of this game, even though it looked like it was in theory easy to play around because it was quite mountainous and it had some really kind of high ground and low ground, so you're able to play around it, it was surprisingly difficult because those low ground areas were quite harsh. So you trying to move around as you're making your way into the circle, it's not easy, it's not smooth. So in theory, you can't really play as freely as you think you can, especially with the amount of teams that were kind of left in the last couple of phases, and how separated it were, especially based off the circle shifting away from most of the teams. So yeah, it definitely was not as easy to play around as it looked, but it sure as hell was entertaining.
Just to also do a quick recap, before this game, Bloodline was one chicken dinner that had 59 points. They were in 4th position. And now we're going to be checking out the standings. Well, they're standing right now. They're in 2nd, man. They are in goddamn 2nd spot. And they're also chasing after the title of UDR Killers of being number 1 at the end of the finals for PMCO EU. Like, this is mental. Bloodline coming out from like the middle of the pack, you know, at the start of the first day. They were looking still really good after that first chicken dinner, but now they're literally racing for number 1 spot. At the start of this day, I knew they were going to do good, but picking up a chicken dinner on the first game so dominantly with so many kills, 12 kills. I mean, Bloodline proving once again that they're one of the best teams in all of Europe. Yeah,
but Max, the only team that's still in the top 4 from the end of yesterday's game is UDR Killers. Every other team is shifted. Red Reserve, not so bad, dropped down to 5th. But Godson, they've dropped down to 7th. Of course, the caveat that you might think, oh, 7th place, it's still 65 points. It's still only 5 points behind 4th place. So by no means is it, you know, out of the woods for them, but their confidence is definitely going to be lower. The kind of, they will have to really just pull something out of the bag for the 3rd game. If they get another 1-point game, I fear it might crumble.
Yeah, I think it might be the case. And you're still going to see, like, you know, Gun, Gaijin, Bet Romania, Clay Jelly still struggling to move away. Inside Games also still down there, despite a pretty decent first game on Erangel, I do have to mention. Not quite there just yet for them, but still got 2 games to come up. I'm going to say that right now, the maximum amount of points you can get over 2 games, if we're really pushing it, was 2 chicken dinners, was 20 points. You can potentially max it out at like 80. And that's like, you know, statistically speaking, that is very low odd happening. So you can already somewhat see some teams that are not going to make it. Very unfortunately, the teams down below, Bet Romania, Gun, Gaijin, Inside Games, the teams I just mentioned. But you can still go out with a bang, you know, if you take a chicken dinner, and potentially teams and orgs next year will be like, you know what, this team, they did really good. They have some potential. We'll pick them up. It's not a reason for you to even know if you can't make it to start giving up. Still show what you can do. Show what your overall position in the game is, how good you are in PUBG Mobile. And you never know, could have a good surprise going into the spring split of 2021.
Like 21 points divide 3rd place and 8th place. But the fear with that is that within that, there's only 2 spots available, right? Because I'm not including Bloodline and UDR because they are kind of right now in their own little battle. So kind of Polar Ace, X Team, Red Reserve, Scrim Farm, Godsend, and Time to Shine. In my opinion, they're the teams that right now, coming into game 3, are fighting for the top, for the 3rd and 4th place spot.
And one chicken dinner could make the entire difference in this lobby, unless it's taken by both Bloodline or UDR Killers. At that point, it will not have too much of an influence, but we'll see which teams will be able to take chicken dinners. Chicken dinners, so we're going to be seeing which team will be able to take it. We still got 2 more games just around the corner. We've got one Sanhok, which is going to be game number 3, followed up was after that a game on Vikendi. We're almost done. We're like, at this point in time, we're 75% done with the finals. 2 more games still remain, and the battle is just so intense. I just can't wait to see who's going to be coming out on top. Who will be the top 4 teams moving to the EMEA League? You want the answer to that question? You know what? We're going to give it to you after this short break. We'll be back in just a few minutes for game number 3, and that's going to be on Sanhok. See you guys in a bit.
Roy's countering. Percocet gets the knock.
Oh, another one.
Quick counter.
The trade. Sam with the drop shot from behind. Unsuccessful on that. J7 coming in for the support.
Roy's countering. Percocet gets the knock.
Oh, another one.
Quick counter.
The trade. Sam with the drop shot from behind. Unsuccessful on that. J7 coming in for the support.
Thank you so much for waiting. Game 3 is just going to be happening in just a few short seconds. It's going to be Sanhok and Imperium. We had some great games. 2 teams taking their second chicken dinner. 1 for UDR, 1 for Bloodline. Now, can I hit a third, or we're going to have some newcomers taking their first chicken dinner in a tournament? Sanhok, literally anything can happen.
Anything can happen in Sanhok, but of course there's a pattern and there's a way to play around the map. Gotta give shout out to X Team and Bloodline. I talked about how, you know, yesterday's games, they kind of both got a chicken dinner each. That was all well and good, but when you looked at how they came into today's games, they had 25 and 27 points, both respectively in placement points, but 20 of those points were from that one chicken dinner alone, right? So it meant that across the other 3 games, they weren't really that strong when it came to finishing in the top 4, top 5, whereas in today's games, they've been a lot more consistent and keeping that aggression.
I just like the fact specifically for X Team that they make it in their own luck instead of waiting for the circle to potentially get in their favor and take good games. So X Team overall, I'm really proud of them. I think they're doing great. Let's see if they can keep on following up with those good run of events so far. Play pass is going to be going from down below in Summit all over to Camp Bravo in the northern eastern side. And we've had a few roles recently into the semi-finals, and the finals actually even yesterday was like Eastern Circles. And I would like to see another Eastern Circle, because overall we don't see that many, and it's good to see some Eastern Circles finally coming up.
We'll have to wait and see. Polar Ace, 3rd place, 0 chicken dinners. They're the only team in the top 4 to not get a win. On one hand, I'm kind of thinking, you know, we know how important a chicken dinner is, and it is an indication that you can get the job done. But I think in an 8-game final, it's not the most important thing. It is, of course, going to be most important that they keep consistent on these results.
I'm seeing right now, Bootcamp is under a little bit of an assault by 2 teams. Got yourself GS Europe around there, and also another team is green, and I can't exactly see who it is. It's underneath, it's hidden, and I don't have the information as of yet, but that means for sure they're going to be having some action unfolding, and we'll see exactly who that just might be. But otherwise, everyone's pretty split from each other. Actually, Kapahala, well, the entire Bloodline team went down into docks. Here it is. GS Europe going to be fighting versus Godsend as the other green team, and Godsend already lost himself. Reeves, and Reeves not just knocked, he's actually flushed away from this lobby. Full on assault into the U-shaped building. Let's see how it's going to go. Rafa going to be cornered into the back of his head. That's going to be 1, 2. GS Europe really struggling to hold on to the fight as Navi got flushed away potentially very soon. And struggling quite a bit. Oh, wait, Navi's still there? Oh, he's so low HP. I can't even see his HP bar anymore. But you know what? Kamara, I can still see it, and it's not looking really healthy for him. He's going to have to move away. But yeah, Navi, how the hell do you survive that? And there you have it. Right off the bat, they're going to be eliminated. GS Europe taken out in 16th position. 4 kills going away of Godsend. Woo.
Yeah, hey, look, when you have, you know, these teams that, to be fair to GSG, it's not like they're out of the running, but they're definitely quite far away from getting in the top 4, taking a bit of a risk, doing a bit more of a hot dropping strategy. Didn't work out for them. Godsend continue to be the kings of bootcamp.
It's risky. I mean, going for a hot drop bootcamp on like one of the 2 last games of the day, man, you're asking for trouble to happen there. Unfortunately, it didn't quite work out for them. As I talked about it right before the fight happened, Bloodline and UDR killers, we said in the past, they're always attracted to each other, but never to this extent, never to the point where they both go towards docks, which is like the position I think in Sanhok is like the least used. Like, what?
It's also ironic that they're attracted to each other on the leaderboard, with UDR in first and Bloodline in second. So that kind of speaks for itself. What's good for both of these teams is that the phase on circle is kind of relatively central on the mainland, so they don't really have to move too far away to get a strong position inside the circle.
Oh, the shots, Allen is so low. 1 bullet. That's you just said the lob bullet. Maybe that one. No, didn't quite connect onto Allen. Allen right behind the mountain right now, and will be normally able to res himself back up. But definitely the advantage goes to Bloodline. They got all the information from up above. Athis will potentially think of going back up here with the rest of his team. But overall, this is like, do we have fights happen over here? Like, I've never seen this in competitive, or at least it's very rare when it happens.
No, this is kind of pretty unusual, but it speaks for it speaks for how dynamic the two teams are, and also how similar they are in terms of the way they play, the way they like to rotate. Of course, we do tend to see them go their separate ways coming into phase 2, etc. But in terms of hot drops and how aggressive they can be and calculated, they're two very similar teams.
They're also two teams that, when you think about it, if they both have two really bad games in a row, like, teams could, technically speaking, overtake them. So it's just something to keep in mind. If they do have two bad games, or like I'm talking like 1 point, 2 points in a row, then things could get a little bit tricky. So you know what? UDR Killers and Bloodline, I think that they understand that. They don't want to take the risk as of yet. They might just have a little bit of fun into the Vikendi game, but right now, maybe not the best time to do so.
One of the UDR players is inside the water, and look how much of the fact that Bloodline are kind of pushing this onto the members of UDR Killers. The good thing for Bloodline is that they have one player on the high ground hills that are overlooking this dock area, but UDR Killers are just swimming away, avoiding the action, and that makes sense. They're being passive. They'll want to go for a northern rotation into the circle. They might get spotted out possibly by Aethys, but so far, nothing too bad.
I didn't know this boat was actually a fishing boat in disguise. As UDR Killers, the little fishes in the water, Bloodline ready to just put their line out there and see if there's going to be going for the bait. I mean, I'm sure this is a Bloodline, like, play. Like, for sure, because they never go that far down south into docks. That's where UDR Killers normally play. But Nurofen, hello, Nurofen, just... Okay, he's going out for it. He wants the kills. He's angry. He wants some fish tonight, boy. Chicken dinner, hell no. Fishy dinner. That's what we're aiming for. Ulysses going to be taking some heavy damage. Going to go back in the passenger seat looking for Ulysses. Nano will go on forward. Okay, this is definitely a weird game.
I know I talked about how it's not too bad for the two teams because of the circle being so central on the map, but I do feel like there's maybe a little bit of tunnel vision by Bloodline. It is going to come a point where they're going to have to think about their position inside the circle, their rotation, to be more confident on phase 2, phase 3. And I worry the longer they leave it, the harder it's going to get.
Well, there was going to find himself Ulysses. Ooh, UDR Killers may be in trouble. And we said it, Bloodline, they're actually not aiming, they're running top 4, but they may be actually even aiming for the top 1 spot. They want to be the number 1 team of EU to get that extra cash prize for themselves. So let's see how they can pull on through. Over to now 2 teams. That's going to be Polar Ace and Clay GLA. Clay GLA down below, got a nice little spread, evenly spread throughout this compound. Polar Ace from up above could get the information. Should really go too far, but you really never know, because it's Polar Ace, and you never know what's in their mind.
You just never know what's going through their head, especially when you have a player like Ked who can just explode on a dime, a player like Savage X who's able to clutch out and be dynamic, the master of everything, or the jack of all trades, so to speak. But X team looking for Scrim Farm on Scrim Farm's rotation.
Really clean response on Scrim Farm. They're able to put quite a bit of damage on the other side. Peko, Linu, both extremely low. Peko, talking about people that can clutch it, Peko is another one that stands in that category. And we'll see how they puff away from this location. Unfortunately, they got caught out mid-rotation, so they really pinned down behind those rocks. Some utility will potentially have to be shut down by Scrim Farm if they want to just cleanly move away from this location, because right now, they're definitely in a lot of trouble. They got 2 players currently on the other side of the road, so if they want, they're a little bit high ground, put the hurt on the teams in the compound, maybe to move away from this location.
Just Scrim Farm just have to get into a compound of safety, which they are relatively close to. For X team, they're not going to want to move out from where they are. Let's not forget that the chicken dinner they did get yesterday was in Sanhok, and it was off the basis of them being in a compound and the circle favoring them, and they protected that compound very effectively. Doing the same even on phase 1 against Scrim Farm in today's Sanhok game could be a part of the reason why they win this game as well.
That could be indeed the case. So Dobo, ooh, a little bit of a hide and seek right there, going from rock to rock, hiding behind it. As the Bet Romania, ooh, there. Having 1 player knocked away. Dexter, that's like so many players when I think about it that can actually just clutch it. Dexter definitely stands also in that category over there with Savage X and Peko. And if they want to go for the res, they need to put some hurt onto Gaging so they relieve a bit of their pressure, smoke their way over to Dexter, but Dexter is just in such a hard spot. Gaging's got so many angles, and Dexter will indeed get confirmed away. That's already the 2nd kill for Gaging. Very good on this early stage.
It's good on the early stage, but they have lost a player at the hands of Jay, so it is going to make it a little bit tougher. Of course, we know in Sanhok, it is the kind of map where you can get a strong result as a last player, as a solo man, as a 2-man team, because you're able to play that snake rotation or that snake position coming into phase 5, phase 6, etc. But either way, you know, I talk about how important it is to still be able to control the circle around you, to do what Bloodline did in the last game, what UDR did in game 1 as a full squad. But if you don't have that full squad, it makes it harder.
Well, just saw MVP actually move away a little bit further away from the trifecta, playing on the west, because I know it's a very slim chance of it actually going for the Western Islands. So I think that's overall a pretty good call from the side of MVP. They've got to be careful, as Godsent still going to be remaining inside of bootcamp itself. Still as a two-man team, as they struggled earlier versus another squad that was GSG Europe. Here, this circle pretty centered up, and I like it. And now just like they're avoiding the Paradise Resort area, like the play. They're like, Paradise, we hate it. We don't want to fight there. We don't want to hear it. Paradise, get out of here.
This is great potential for Red Reserve. What I would recommend they do, and again, it kind of comes down to the law of percentages. There's a much higher percentage chance that they're going to come across a team if they go towards the west of Quarry, or if they rotate from the east to the east of Quarry. There's bound to be less teams, because less teams drop around the east side of the map. So Bloodline UDR Killers, Bloodline are the only team that's near them, so they should go towards the east side of Quarry. But if they go towards the west, they might come across X team. They might come across multiple teams around them.
Also over to another team, that's going to be Bloodline. They picked up their kill versus UDR, and they only picked up one. So UDR Killers, technically speaking, unless someone died by drowning or by the blue zone, which, you know, at that point with this kind of early engagements, anything could happen. But I guess that means UDR Killers still remaining as a three-man team. And Bloodline, they didn't want to overstay. They didn't want to just pursue down UDR Killers. Like, we got one kill. That's great. We put the hurt. We're going to move away. And as we go over to UDR, indeed, they still remain as a three-man team. So good for them, as they're going to get close to Lakawi.
Bit of a passive early game on this Sanhok, because we've only lost 2 players. We have 52, 2 teams, 52 players left. And I think that's a product of the circle. Being so central on the mainland that teams just don't feel as, as pressurized to go for a risky rotation, to go for a bold move by the water side, right? They can just kind of play a bit more passive. For Red Reserve, they're choosing to go to the west of the Quarry area, and I fear that really might go against them.
Yeah, it could. I hope that they'll be able to get himself a good game over here on good old Sanhok. Red Reserve just on a move in a straight little line, putting their lines, their ducking lines, which are having a little bit of a fun time going for their rotation. They're getting very close to Quarry, and we just mentioned it many times right in the past broadcast that Quarry is just a little bit of a tricky place to play around overall, especially when you get inside it, because it is very similar to you trying to go up here on the mountain of Sanhok. It's just a few corridors you can go through, so hopefully no one gets too heavily stuck inside of it. It happened in the path, and most of the times the teams that end up in Quarry don't come out alive from it.
So, of course, to remind you guys, the top 4 teams so far currently in the overall standings, UDR Killers are in first on 109 points. Bloodline in second on 91 points. Polar Ace in third on 77 points. And X Team in fourth on 70 points. But very closely followed behind you have the likes of Red Reserve, Scrim Farm, Godsend, and Time to Shine. I consider those 8 teams are fighting for the top 4 spots.
Yeah, I would agree overall. Those are the big teams you're looking at. Even potentially, the real deal. They could still get himself... Wait, did you just say
mathematically, yes.
Yeah, so they could still make it on through. We're now looking at like the bottom 4 teams, like mathematically almost impossible for them to do it, very unfortunately. So we're going to try and keep focus, and also it's just trying to go out with a bang, see if they can get some good results before they go out. But overall, we're going to be having the circle phase 3 going to be coming out on the board very, very soon. And overall, this is, very passive. I mean, we had some very early action. This was very unusual, we could say, towards the dock. So I was still very happily surprised with that. But now the action is just going to get a little bit more intense, especially with this phase 3 circle going to pop up. If it goes over to Paradise Resort, players are not going to have a fun time. Where's it going to go? It actually ends up going pretty high close to Paradise Resort over on the northwest eastern edge. And UDR Killers, Gun actually pushing onto Sandra of UDR Killers. They're going to potentially try and get one player of UDR out of the equation entirely.
It would be great for them because they already have Mamula in a compound firmly inside the circle. So the rest of the team can be a bit more aggressive knowing they have that security. But that security isn't looking too good if Outro is going to get dropped to his knees. Whereas Wolves looking for him along with Herbs. Herbs has to be able to clap back against UDR Killers.
Vamos UDR, let's see what you guys can do. Going to go for a little underhanded grenade. And Herbs, he knows he just can't go for the res randomly in the open. He's going to go back to that rock. Then his ally crawl to him so he can go for the res. Sandro trying to sneak his way uphill, and this is a very smart play from Sandro, trying to avoid detection from Wheels down below, get uphill onto both Herbs and Outro to get the flush onto them, and giving them also a lot of time for his team to rotate and back as a 3-man squad. This is Yada Killer really buying their time and trying to get the most out of this position. Now Gun, they pull off the res, so it's going to make it now from a 3v3 fight to back on the 3v4.
Alright, looking for those shots on towards Focus or Nano. Again, if they can get the squad wipe onto UDR, right, it's going to set themselves up nicely because they'll have no other teams around them on the northeast side of this circle. Because it did shift quite heavily down south on the previous phase, but it's gone back up north. The majority of the teams are on the south 50% of this phase 3 circle.
There you go. Gun actually, you saw Herbs trying to take the position away from Sandro, and I think Sandro knew that, so he's not going to peek too heavily, but now you got the rest of UDR killers, got Pocus. I don't know where Nano is. He's really staying really far back in the compound, just in case they potentially have to retreat in the future. But they're really thinking heavily of this one. But overall, Gun, extremely spread to my liking Imperium. I don't know what you think about it, but maybe not the best position to take the fight to UDR.
But here's the thing. I suppose there's also that element of they don't have to take the fight to UDR. They can look to swipe UDR from the side on that spread. I see where you're coming from, though, and I talked about how Gun could be a bit more aggressive because they had that security inside the circle. Like you said, if you're not proactive, you can get shot down, and it could be the case against UDR.
Wait, you got a dark red, you got a bright red, and you got a pink team. You're asking for me to get confused with all these guys over here. You're asking for me to say the wrong team name. I hope you guys know this. So, okay, please, I'll try and not mix it up. But Red Reserve class is going to be pushing up. That's a little bit risky. He's going to be leading the rest of the pack, and class will go down first. Kalista is going to be the secondary target on the hands of X team. Will go down. Also, Red Reserve going up here with that information. I mean, it's hard to scout those kind of mountaintops, right? But you should potentially think of going around the mountains instead of going up when you don't know where team is. Now, Victor and Frost will be remaining as a 2-man army. As X team now, because they got the man advantage, they got a 4v2. They're just going to try and potentially push down onto Red Reserve as they're trying to move away with that smoke road. Smart usage of the utility. I got to say, Red Reserve really trying to move away from this fight. They know they can't win it. They're giving up entirely, losing 2 players along the way.
So what happens when they went towards the west side of Quarry, and I mentioned that could be the risk, and that's exactly what has happened. Bloodline are also in the sightlines. They could look to fight up towards X team. We'll have to wait and see what happens there. The real deal are also in the mix, and that circle shifting up north is going to put so many of these teams down the southwest side under pressure.
All these teams are like, bruh, really making us go to Paradise right now? Like, that's a double bruh worthy. Like, this absolutely sucks, and teams are not going to have a fun time.
Always are thinking, why didn't we just stay in Paradise?
Why didn't we just stay there? We drop there, we do an X team like yesterday on Sanhok. You know what, talking about X team, there we go, under 5. Beck for Mercy taking a hefty chunk of damage. Zombie also going to be under 5. I thought he was behind that rock, but it seemed like Bloodline still able to find that damage. Great spray onto Zombie, puts him dangerously low, and it's going to go straight back behind that rock. Does not want to take for the fight. Here it is, great nade coming out from Athis. Bloodline still in the 4v2 themselves. And so you're going to be pushing uphill. They know that this is a fight potentially not worth taking for a long time. But you know what? They're going to go for the push. Kapahala. Oh, he's going to get shut down by Andy. And I was going to say, Bloodline, go for the fight. Then move away. Just want to make sure you don't get backstabbed. But they're going to be losing 2 of their players down to a 2-man team. As Neurofen really far away from the action. X team potentially even might have enough time to go for the res onto Beck for Mercy. But Frost, actually, they went around the mountain, which is why I said Imperium. I wanted to see Red Reserve go for the wide rotation. Yeah. And now they're actually putting the hurt and dominating and calculating how the fight happens between both X team and also Bloodline.
Yeah, X team didn't finish the squad wipe on the Red Reserve, and they might pay the price, but at least they do have 3 members up for their side doing a little bit of looting as the blue zone is closing on phase 4. That tick damage on the blue zone isn't that aggressive, so they should be able to hold out and hold themselves up as Bloodline are just going to stay safe and wait for X team to disengage. Well, all in, looking for the main with X team and find Zombie.
Finds one, there you go. At least it's going to be a little bit of a trade-off for him. They left Beck for Mercy in the back just in case, maybe to try and make sure next team's going to go for the backstab. Oh my god, he got the shot. Allen with a headshot right away, and that's going to be a 2nd kill going over to this absolute legend of a player. 3 kills going over to Bloodline. Allen and Eurofin still remain, but the blue zone's going to go over to phase 5 very soon, so you want to get quickly encircled to make sure you don't tick too heavily.
Also, nice grenade coming out by Rana on the Clown as the real deal trying to make their way into the circle. MVP sitting firmly down on the southwest side. One of the teams that didn't really need to worry about repositioning on that last circle shift, but do and did and have to worry about the teams coming in from outside the circle.
Normally I would say MVP could have even gone for the center circle, but actually here no, because it's the edge of Paradise Resort, and those areas are really hard to find. There's a lot of dips and high hills, so you want to try and stay away from that as much as you possibly can, just like the plague, to avoid it at all costs. Now from down below, KGLA going to try and also go for the push onto MVP Gaming. MVP, they are just dominating the scene, making sure the Scrim Farm and KGLA and even the real down the teams down in the compound away can't move their way inside the circle. Jaja under fire, it's going to be Hardboy able to find himself a lot of damage, but he's going to be taken down also himself with Junker because of the blue, and the circle goes over up north, and Gun take full control of the compound. You guys have a perfect circle to take your first win in the finals. Oh my god, MVP going to be putting their focus back onto KGLA. But MVP, they know that here, maybe this is not the best option. You got two teams fighting in the blue. Maybe just move into the circle. Give up on that fight. It's not worthwhile. Position is way more important in this scenario.
I get why MVP don't really want to move too far into the circle yet, that they will want to take care of what's going on behind them rather than focusing too heavily on getting into the circle and maybe getting stabbed in the back. But hey, disengaging and moving in now, knowing their terrain, they are feeling confident that they are not going to get punished from behind.
And this is the path to turn I mentioned. It's really tricky. It's uphill, downhill, uphill, downhill. Feels like a really badly executed roller coaster, if I'm completely honest. And that's why teams avoid it as much as possible. Now UDR killers, Sandra got knocked away. Pocus, Nano still in the blue. They're going to have to run their way forwards in the open, loving arms. And muscling arms off Gun indeed. I want to have a hug with all of them. That was a little bit weird. Sorry for that, guys. But with that said, UDR, yeah, that was a little bit of that was a dream I had last night in Imperium. I want to have a hug with them all.
Anyway, don't make me jealous, please. Thank you very much. As the play zone does make Sandro jealous by knocking him down. MVP onto Bet. That push into the circle is definitely favoring MVP as they try and grab control. Down the prone. The snakes are going to come out and fire up and towards UDR killers.
Dobo goes peekaboo. I see you, and you're gone. But now I thought, wait, no, I thought Poker saw him. No way, he does not see you, Dobo. Oh my god, and he's ticking too heavily. He's gonna have to move away in the circle, going straight into the palms of MVP Gaming. I mean, they didn't even move all that much this game. You know what? The circle's going in their favor. Godsent and KGLA, they're both going to be fighting on the side. And Will of Time to Shine is still up north, just taking the time of his life, as UDR killers do indeed get eliminated in 7th. But still, that's a decent result. Better than Bloodline in this game of Sanhok.
Man, see, maybe Guns focus on UDR killers in the previous couple of phases. I know the circle has kind of now shifted away from Paradise Resort, but maybe that's kind of put them under more pressure in the side of phase 6, phase 7. Something you got to think about. But either way, MVP, they've been proactive. They've moved in. Now they're going to favor inside the circle down on the south side.
Godsent did really good in the late game circles to take control, take aggressive positions to turn it into kills. They picked up 5 so far, and mainly that's going to be because of their fight with GSG earlier in boot camp. Now KGLA just going to be crawling their way behind Marley, and Marley can't hear the footsteps. He can't hear anything, to be completely exact, so Godsent will have to be very careful. The smoke's actually denying a lot of visibility away from Godsent, so they've got to be careful of what might be crawling in their backs. And now everyone's just going to play on the edge of the circle, because dead center of the circle, Imperium, we might not be able to say it right now, but it's a dip actually, so no one's going to play on the center.
Can I also mention that, look, you know, MVP Gaming, they're coming into this game on a total of 12 kills, and they haven't really looked to shine up. But now in this game, they are picking things up. They are grabbing control, and they are setting themselves up for a juicy Sanhok chicken dinner.
Very juicy indeed. Let's not forget the Godsent currently got 0 chicken dinners. They're in 7th position. If they pick up 1 chicken dinner, I'm going to say it right now, they'll be in 7th. They will be in top 4 very easily. 1 chicken dinner will be making a huge difference for the Godsent composition to make it back nice and calmly in the top 4. Now, got Gun, got Surf MVP Gaming, talking about Gun and MVP. They're very close to each other, and Gun, they're so spread, but taking so much control in this game. But right now, maybe the better option would be to just take control in the circle itself. They can't really do so because Godsent are actually threatening the northern edge, so they need to take care of Godsent before even just thinking of making inside circle.
Look at that spread by MVP, though. We talked about the spread of Bloodline in Game 2. We talked about the spread of UDR Killers in Game 1. The spread of MVP is just so strong. It's low ground, so they're able to hold on. They're able to snake up and prone down. There's a couple of rocks in play, although Godsent are definitely going to give them a run for their money.
And Navi, Godsent composition, being floor gang to the next level, hugging the ground like it's their own mama. As now KGLA again absolutely obliterated by Godsent, and they have even Godsent himself going down to the hands of Gun. There you go. It's going to be Matrix style over here. Now down to 2 teams. It's going to be Gun. It's going to be MVP Gaming. Gun going to be under fire, baby. Taking a kill onto Na'Vi. That's 10 kills over to MVP Gaming. And that will be 10 kills, double digits for them. Archer in a 1v4 scenario. Able to find himself one onto the player known as Neymar. And he's got that tree to play around. Able to find information onto Tika. The spray will be continuously coming on through. And they have it. MVP Gaming not only taking a chicken dinner, this is also their very first chicken dinner over here in the finals. And is rightly deserved. They used the circle just so well. They had to get a win here.
11 kill chicken dinner MVP. I was messaging Danny in between the games, and he was kind of saying to me, hey, we have to, we're gonna need it now. And I said, look, I believe in you all. And they believed in themselves, and they've got that fantastic result. Is it too little too late? I don't know. We'll have to wait and find out when we see the overall standings. But at least, in terms of going out with a bang, finishing the finals of the PMCO with a chicken dinner, that's something that they can hold their heads high up with. And also is the fact that they've got 11 kills in this one game alone, when on the 6 games previously they had a total of 12 kills. That's such a great turnaround.
That is indeed such a great turnaround. Loving it. But Godsend overall, they're just holding on strong. Still no chicken dinner. You know what? Very unfortunately, still no chicken dinner. Maybe the last one will be the one where they get that win. But overall, there were, before this game, let me find it real quick. I actually lost it. They were in 7th position, Godsend. And now, with this game, I definitely do think that they're going to be around top 5.
This was as good as a chicken dinner for them. The reason why is because they got 17 points, the nearest team to them in terms of fighting for the top 4 is Time to Shine, and they only got 8 kills, right? Whereas the likes of Scrim Farm got 5, Red Reserve got 5, UDR Killers got 5, and Bloodline only got 6. This was as good of a chicken dinner, or as good of a game when it comes to points, as Godsend could have asked for. Really gonna shake up the standings.
So basically what counts as an unofficial chicken dinner. That's what we're saying right there.
Yeah, at least in terms of impact.
Yes. I get it. But you know what? I updated the leaderboard, so let's go check a quick little snippet. Boom, there we go. Thanos snap into the transition. And here we have it. UDR Killer still standing up. Strong Bloodline trying to contest it away. But I said it, Godsend. I thought they would be in top 5, but you know what? They proved me wrong. They're actually in top 3. Oh, doing it. And Polar Race currently up there also. Extreme Red Reserve, both with a chicken dinner. Kicked out of the top 4. This is a huge surprise to be 4, but a welcome one.
It's so close. It's so close. Like, it's so... I don't want to say the obvious, but it's so goddamn freaking close, Max. 82 points for Godsend, 79 for Polar Ace, 75 for X Team, 73 for Red Reserve, 72 for Scrim Farm, 66 for MVP, and 64 for Time to Shine. And the question of, have MVP got themselves up into the fight for the top 4? I do believe they firmly have. They're only 13 points away from that 4th place.
Currently, I'll say 100% short from 3rd position all down to 9th position. Up to 9th position.
9th.
It's in the air. We do not know who's going to be up there. Like UDR Killers, Bloodline, I think can both count them in as like they qualified. They made it through easy peasy, lemon squeezy overall. Just quote Imperium right there. So really, this is going to be all played on the final game, which I think is the better course of action. You know what? Because we like it. Otherwise, it's boring to know, like, oh, you got the final game. But we already know who's going to qualify. We do not know who will be the 2 other teams in 3rd and 4th position to make it up to the next stage. And, man, it's such a nice tournament. Like, this is, compared to the Spring Split, this is like Spring Split, like, times 10,000 in terms of, like, how intense it is.
It's also the fact that 3rd and 4th place haven't got the chicken dinner, right? So... Again, I kind of talk about how getting that chicken dinner, that golden nugget of a win, can be imperative for you, not only showing yourself, but showing everybody around you that you can get the job done. Godsend did it in group stage. They did it in semi-finals. They did show to be pretty dominant and get those wins. But in the finals, they haven't got it done so far, but they're still at least in the top 4. Will they show up strong in the final game of the day in Vikendi?
Hopefully that'll be the case. I mean, it's all going to close up on one Vikendi. Officially the best map, led by me and Imperium. And it's... Man, I don't really know what to add because we literally just do not know. Normally we know exactly what to say. Like, we cast, it's our job to know exactly what to say. I do not know what to say right now because we just have no goddamn idea of what the hell is going to happen. No clue.
I do wanna say that I just love the fact that Godsend still have more kill points and placement points. I just love that. Of course, in theory, like, you know, they should have more placement points, but those kill points, remember what I said about them being so important. If they end up on the same amount of points as, let's say, X team, okay, in between 4th and 5th, they'll go through because they have more kill points.
Yeah.
Realistically, Godsend, they're coming into this final game with that extra caveat, with that, in theory, that little bit of a lifeline that they do have those dominating kills that is going to help them if they are in the same amount of points as the 5th place team.
Because I think that, like, the people that are watching these streams, like, a lot of viewers think, oh, 1 kill, 1 point. It's maybe not all that much, but, like, when you think about it, 1, 2, 3 kills per game over the course of 8 games, like, it racks up really quickly. And you got to keep that in mind. If you're just consistent on your kills, it'll make a huge difference at the end line.
Like, if you look at, let's say, Godsend, Polar Ace, X Team, Red Reserve, Scrim Farm, MVP, and Time to Shine.
Yeah.
You know, they all have very similar placement points. The only thing that's really separating those teams are the kill points. Polar Ace and X Team on 30 compared to Red Reserve on 21. Godsend on 42 compared to Polar Ace and X Team's 30. It's really kind of the biggest difference maker of the teams and the reason why they're ahead of each other.
I just dropped my pen right there. I looked really dumb on camera. I was trying to do this little swirly thing. Let me try. Wait. No, it's not working. Whatever. With that said, we're gonna go for a break, guys. Thank you so much for checking out this game. Is all gonna be finishing. I know Imperium is cringing a lot of me, so guys. I'm so sorry. But short break as always. Got Vikendi. The final map is gonna be the final straight line for all of these teams. Who will be remaining on top? Who will be crowned the kings of the European region? And going next, we will be the next 4 teams to go over to the EMEA League. The answer coming up in just a few minutes. So stick around for that. You definitely do not want to miss what is about to happen. See you in just a bit for the final Vikendi game.
Ground. Roy's countering. Percocet gets the knock.
Oh, another one.
Quick counter.
The trade. Sam with the drop shot from behind. Unsuccessful on that. Jason coming in for the support.
Roy's trying to counter it. Percocet gets the knock.
Oh, another one.
Quick counter.
The trade. Sam with the drop shot from behind. Unsuccessful on that. J7 coming in for the support.
And here we are. Boys and girls, final game. We've been fighting for the past, what, 2 weeks and a half, 3 weeks almost. Yeah. And we are ready to dive into the very, and I mean very last game of this entire European full split PMCO for the European region. And after this, 4 teams will be crowned the best teams of EU and we'll be moving off to the next stage, which is the EMEA League. My name is Max and I'm once again with Imperium to bring you this final game. The action can just, it's so thick you can cut it down with a knife, can touch it with your bare hands. And Imperium, top 9 are still in the running.
Pretty much top 9 in the running. We've had 11 and a half, well, 10 and a half broadcast days. This is midway through the 11th broadcast day, the final game, and it all comes down to this. We were talking about it during the break, right? The teams in the top 4 right now, UDR and Bloodline, pretty much secure their spot, unless Bloodline go out first and Godsend, Polar Ace, and if X Team and Red Reserve and Scrim Farm get absolutely stonking results, I can't see Bloodline going out. However, for Godsend and Polar Ace, they do still need to hit that average of minimum 10 points.
It needs some good game. Literally any team in this top 9 except for the top 2, because they're already done. They can just be like, lol, having a fun time. But everyone literally needs a good game just to make sure or to secure their position or steal it away from the opposition of top 3 and top 4 positions. There it is, our last playing path for this full split for the European region. Really from Hot Spring Contra, from all over to Critchas. And overall, this is going to be pretty nice for one team. You know, Red Reserve, they like to drop down there from time to time, unless they switched it up, which I believe is not the case, as they're going to be down there with gauging for sneaky hot drop, which Red Reserve, I don't think are too happy about.
No, Gaijin had switched up their hotspot, or their drop spot, should I say, previously. But obviously, because Gaijin aren't really in the running, there's a certain attitude of, hey, look, they have nothing to lose. We do see this phase 1 circle is a bit up north. It's not too heavy when it comes to inclusion of the water, but the river is in play between the east and west side, so that might come into contention as we get through these phases.
I'm just happy we don't have like a 50-50 split water for this one. The teams can play normally, but as you just mentioned, like rightly so, that water, that's going to be a big point of contestment for a lot of these teams. But UDR Killers and Bloodline actually get a little bit involved. Should be careful, but you know what? They're both in first and second position. Even if they die early, they're pretty much qualified, so that fight is not going to have really a big influence. But the one for Red Reserve is actually going to have a pretty big impact, so we'll try and have a big influence and see how that fight is going to be unfolding.
One member of Bloodline have been taken out already by UDR Killers. I just noticed that as we have a look at the map. The side of Scrim Farm, they're going to have an easy enough rotation coming up from Double Meso to make their way into the circle. Polar Ace, they normally like to loot up around Zabava area on the north side, so they might opt to just rotate to there and then stick a little bit down south to get into the center of the circle.
I mean, Red Reserve really, they should, like you said it right, they're fighting versus a team that's very low in the standings, but still gauging from time to time. They put on some little diamonds in the rough from time to time on their moves, so they got to be very careful. If this time it's not a rock but an actual diamond, Red Reserve, they might fully regret dropping once again in the Contra/Hot Spring, so they're just going to move away. They're playing a very passive approach compared to what they've done in the past. So I think that's the mindset from Red Reserve I desperately want to see. As a Daddy, this is a surprise birthday. I think Daddy, he doesn't want that surprise birthday right now. He's very scared of it.
And this is scary for Time to Shine, because they're another one of the teams that are fighting for one of the top 4 spots. Spray gonna be coming in. Nice shotgun! DBS blasting for Daddy to knock down Spray.
Oh my god. There you go. Time to Shine. They're going to be using one very good player right away. And Time to Shine, they're 9th position. We said top 9 could still make it. This is definitely not what they want from the very start. And the real deal, they're a team that currently, they pretty much in a position where they can't qualify for the top 4. So they're just going for the fight. They're like, you know what? We're going to go out for the bang versus Time to Shine. Potentially also take their chance of qualifying away from them. There it is. They're going to go for the push. That's going to be Nia with a Thompson. Going to get a little bit more involved, close and personal. Spray's going to get normally rezzed up on the staircase by Azzy. I don't know. Has Time to Shine got time to get up some grenades and throw it through the windows? It doesn't seem like so.
They have already been chucking up the grenades and the Molotovs. They confirmed the kill onto one of the members of the Real Deal. That's Hackshot. What might hurt Time to Shine is the fact that Clown is on the other side of the road in that building. And if Time to Shine are not aware of that, on their breach into the house, they could get caught out.
He's denying them the possibility and the option to rotate quickly between different buildings. So making sure that if they want to push on over, they've got to be very thoughtful and be very careful, especially of how they do so. Now, as the Spray going to be chilling, they're able to heal off. Spray's going to get back to full health very soon. This is a fight that Time to Shine, they must have so much pressure right now because if they want to qualify, they need, I would say, minimum a chicken dinner. They can still make it, but it's going to be an extremely, extremely complicated task for them. And so they're definitely taking a very slow approach. They want to make sure that if they go for the push, they're 100% going to win. If they know they can't, they're just going to leave it.
There is also fear that the longer they leave it, they are quite far away from the circle in relativity of how other teams are to the north of them. You could see Godsend maybe look to be aggressively advantageous and opportunistic by third-partying this because they are on the other side. But either way, yeah, these two teams are kind of punishing each other. It's clearly, as we've already mentioned, it's more punishing for Time to Shine because they are still in the running to get into the top 4.
Yeah, beyond that wall. And I think that now they just took the fight for so long. They already lost Daddy, like rethinking, what are we doing here? We should just leave. They're lucky that they're moving down behind that wall because otherwise Clown, as you mentioned earlier, he could really be a big issue for them. I'm seeing Polar Ace popping into the kill feed versus Bit Romania, and Polar Ace, they can't afford to die here because it's still not 100% sure they qualified. Really.
That is very true indeed. I'm just kind of waiting to see what's happening. A bit of a standoff right now between these two teams, and it makes sense for Time to Shine. They do not want to take any risks. They did get that counter kill onto the Real Deal, but otherwise, being as a 3-man team around Vikendi, it's so important that you're able to have as many members up as possible. Talked about that spread that you can isolate other teams around you coming into phase 4, 5, 6. It's going to be important. Hey, what did I say about the third party? Godsend Marty onto Naya.
Yeah, there you go. This is definitely not what they want. And the Real Deal, they shut down Daddy earlier, right? So they know 100% that they're fighting versus Time to Shine. They saw that in kill feed, like, this is the time. This is the alarm that's ringing, the bell that's ringing. The opportunity that's finally shown up for them to go for the push. Wave going to be going for the shot, able to find himself one with the Thompson. Thompson's got so many bullets, can easily clutch it off in a 1v2 if you want. Picking it up also with the Uzi. Unfortunately, no bullets will be connecting for him. Spray is going to be taking a very slow approach to this one. And Will trying to be a little bit sneaky, trying to wrap around behind the Real Deal and get sneaky amble. Oh, but no, another third party happening over here. And let's not forget that if Time to Shine die right now, this is the end. They will not make it over to the EMEA League. And Swave is left as a one-man army in this 1v2 versus Spray and Clown of the Real Deal. And Godsend, this is time for them to get involved. They want a piece of this cake. They want a piece of this fight. They want the kill for them. They're fighting for the top 4 still. Swave, nice. That's a kill he desperately needed. Can't quite find the flush though. And he's taken out. But now Swave, don't get inside. Godsend, you heard them. Leave the scene if you can. But Godsend, are they going to allow that to happen? I'm pretty sure they won't.
Oh, Swave just stay in the bathroom. We talk about how every player always just hides in the bathroom of these buildings. It's occupied indeed. But I think Godsend are looking for the grenade to take down Swave.
When coming out, oh my god, Swave shut down from the side, and there you have it. That's Reef taking control, eliminating Time to Shine, and along that, eliminating their chance and their options of making it over to the EMEA League. Thanks so much, Time to Shine. It was a great time seeing you play, but unfortunately, your adventure stops here. Ooh.
One team down, in theory, 18 to go. Raiders are looking for Gaijin. Kailas, gotta be careful.
Oh my god, no, that Molly, no, absolute utter destruction. Was that Red Reserve Molly or was that a mistake Molly? I'm not too sure. Oh, you know what? Jay and Lord A. There you go. I mean, now they're down. Oh, man. Lord A. Oh, my died to full damage. No, okay, he's fine. I thought he was scaring me a lot right there. Trying to pull a nanny play. But Lord AB will go down. Red Reserve. These are kills they really, really heavily need in Purim. And what now? They're going to go for their 5th kill in this game. Engaging might just go out. Red Reserve going as a full team. This is the synergy I want to see come out from these guys. And they are coming out on top. 5 kills going their way. This is what the kind of game we're expecting from Red Reserve to make it in the top 4.
Yeah, they started today in 2nd. They have had a mare of the first 3 games, but on the last game, they're known to pull the punches in Vikendi. They're known to get the strong results. They didn't do it yesterday. They only got 2 points, but they're kicking things off in the final game of the PMCO Finals with 5 kills in Vikendi. But they still got to make it to the top 4, top 5, and get those huge placement points.
Oh man, this is so intense. Like, we already lost one team, so now there's only just a few remaining in this one, able to fight for that top 4. And a red reserve. Like, literally, those 5 kills going in the early stage might be the exact only reason why they make it to the next stage. Like, we saw it happen for CIS. Literally played down to 1 point for Alliance to qualify in the top 5. Now it's going to be very similar for, I believe, the European region. And man, I'm stressed out, and I'm not even playing. Like, can't even imagine in what state these players are right now.
It's just so pressurizing because every single move you make, every single breath you take can put you in the wrong direction. You try and control every single movement, you try and control every rotation, but there is that element of uncertainty that can go against you. That's why confidence and mentality is such a key aspect and a key component to competitive gameplay, because if you're more confident, even if you make a wrong decision, you have that backup of confidence where you can bounce back in the next game or later on in the game. As we do look into the Zabava area, Polar Ace have Bet Romania close by. Now, we talked about Bet Romania stonking semi-finals, but in the finals, unfortunately, they haven't been able to get the job done, and they are not in the running to get into the top 4.
And we didn't even talk about the fact that the KED is taken out from the composition of Polar Ace. That is a huge loss, especially because like Vikendi is very focused and emphasizing breaches. Like, losing KED, which is so good in those breach moments, is a really, really big unfortunate run of events. And we even saw earlier, Class the Red Reserve get knocked away. Lucky enough, was not flushed, and the Res did come on through, so they still shall remain as a 4-man team. But now we finally have a view of this circle. It's going to be going high up north. Maybe Cosmo don't finish for this one, or even could go to Mount Kresnik. We'll have to wait and see, but it's going to pop in just a few seconds.
Well, it's absolutely great right now for both Godsend and Red Reserve. Yes, they don't notice because they're still so heavily in the blue down on the south side of the map, but there is no team on the eastern side of the river. So as they do make their way into the edge of the circle and they start to do a little bit of scouting, they'll suddenly realize, hey, we're going to have this side of the river all to ourselves. Now, of course, they're going to be banking and hoping that the circle shifts and stays on the east side. But either way, for now, once they get in, they're going to be looking pretty good.
I mean, Godsend Red Reserve, they're just scaring me a little bit toasted. Welcome to ESG Europe. They got eliminated last position, last game on Sanhok. Now they're going to be taking a fight to Bloodline. Kapala got taken out actually very early for them and not able to find the trade, so the 0 kills going their way as of yet. As let's not forget, they're currently almost 100% qualified, and they are fighting for the #1 spot to take it away from UDR Killers. So let's see what the Bloodline composition can do. But GSG, so far, they got the tippity top of the mountain of Mount Kresnik, and Bloodline understand that, they respect that, and they're just going to dispatch and move away.
It is important when you're playing around Mount Kresnik that you don't spread yourself too thinly, right? That you're able to kind of hold on to one core area, because when it comes to rotating and disengaging away, you're able to disengage away from that core area, and that you're not spread out too thinly. And that's kind of what Bloodline are looking to do. And they're setting themselves up onto north side of Mount Kresnik, because as that circle shifts up, for them, they're going to feel more confident of disengaging away from that position. That's what they're doing.
That's what there's going to be up for them. Polar Ace really put himself in a really, and I would say really sticky situation. Really nice 2-1-1 split coming out from the side of Bet Romania. Polar Ace, they're really struggling. They know that if the circle moves away, they're going to be forced, no option whatsoever. They're going to have to be moving away from this location. And Bet Romania, they got high ground, they got buildings, they got little sneaky positions to play from. Here, Polar Ace, then a position that's going to ask a lot, and I mean a lot of efforts for them to just move away from without even losing a player. And they already lost one that was KED. This is tricky.
It's tricky. The best thing that they can ask for is that they get a knockdown onto one of the members of Bet Romania, or maybe even a kill, as Whiskey is going to get knocked down by a great grenade by Bam. It's going to say, if they do that, it will give them a much more space to disengage. But as of right now, I can't see Whiskey surviving. Savage X and Elusive, they're going to be on their own. We've seen them clutch in Vikendi before as a 2-man team. So off the back of that, it's definitely not out of the woods. Not all hope is lost. They still have a strong chance.
They do, but like, we might be right now spectating the downfall of Polar Ace. This might just be the end. We might be just realizing beforehand, but Whiskey was just so spread away, taking a chance of a res on Whiskey to happen unless they get the full squad wipeout onto Romania in just a matter of a few seconds, and they Thanos snapped them out of existence, which in my opinion is a very slim chance of happening, but you never know. It's the world of PUBG Mobile. The unexpected is to be unexpected. The circle shifting back up north, and Cosmo Joan is completely unoccupied. Hardshift could really set mayhem in this map.
L- Every single team, bar Godsend and Red Reserve, are on the western side of the river. That cluster is so hard. Now, the good thing for Polar Ace is that if they do manage to disengage away from this fight, they have a clean rotation across the bridge on the northern side of the map and into Cosmodrome, where they can play around that area and stay safe.
We're just seeing right now on our screen the fact that Red Reserve, the fact that they've been staying with Godsend so goddamn long in the circle, they've been taken down. Sure, it's only phase 1, shifted over into phase 2.
Yeah.
But on the long term, they've been there for, since as long as I might know, I think they've been in there for like maybe 8 to 10 minutes. And that really starts to trickle down on a health bar.
They're losing a lot of meds. They're losing really kind of a lot of control.
No way. No, they saw him. Yes, they saw him right now. That's going to be 1v2 coming out from Victor. Actually, no, shift that one away. That's going to be 1v4. Absolute destruction on the side of Red Reserve. And let's not forget the Godsend currently in the top 4. Red Reserve, not the case. They still need to put a little bit of a fight to make it up there. Red Reserve going to go for the 3-man car rotation. Car explosion. That's going to be the end of one of the players of Red Reserve. They're going to be losing class right away. The RGL out of commission entirely. And Godsend might just be the reason why Red Reserve do not make it into the EMEA League. What an upset for Red Reserve.
Oh, but again, like Polar Ace, it's not out of the woods just yet. Godsend decide to make their way from the vehicles closer to the members of Red Reserve. They want to eliminate their opponents, their threat of losing a top 4 position. This is Godsend looking to continue as they have throughout these finals and rack up those kills.
Red Reserve, they are bleeding out dear. They got shot in the leg and now they're struggling and they're going to be chasing them down to the end of the earth. Red Reserve losing an extra player. This might just be the end. If they lose their last player, Red Reserve will not make it to the EMEA League. And Godsend, they know it. They want to nail it down. They want to make sure this team will not come back and haunt them in this lobby. Godsend, they just don't know. Where's the last player? Where is Frost? He's still got one more first aid kit and he's about to go into phase 4. I think, Imperium, we just saw the downfall of a Red Reserve happening over here and this might just be the end.
We'll have to wait and see, but Godsend are certainly making that as hard as possible for Red Reserve to stay in the fight for an EMEA League spot. Frost is prone down. Godsend, no! They sniffed out the fact that there is still one more player of Red Reserve, and they don't mind chunking up the blue zone damage to find that last remaining player.
Oh my god, they spot out Frost. Oh, no way. Frost found himself 1 and 2, but I think that might just be the end. And there you go, Marley taking down Frost and also will take down their chance on making it to the EMEA League. They picked up a lot of kills, but I'm pretty much sure that will not be going their way. Godsend, very scary for them. You know what? They make it up, picking up 7 kills and still in the run for this chicken dinner.
They got 6 points. So as of right now, they're on 79 points, which puts them in equal spot as Polar Ace. However, with Polar Ace still inside this game and us losing another team, Polar Ace will get a minimum of 2 points. So 110% Red Reserve have lost their EMEA spot.
If the math man himself said it, there you go. That is going to be factual. That will be the end of Red Reserve. We still got a lot of teams in this game. And Godsend, they went for the right rotation. Imagine if Red Reserve was still in this lobby. They could have gone for Cosmodrome. This could have been such a great game. But Godsend, they were just relentless, pursuing down their foes, making sure they're not going to pursue them in the afterlife. So Godsend, really good call from them overall. Really good IGing. As now Scrim Farm, Bloodline fighting up against each other. Bloodline, they're already qualified. Keep that in mind. But Scrim Farm, not there just yet. They're currently in 7th position at the start of this game. They still need a lot more to make sure they qualify. So this fight might be the reason why they push forward or why they don't make it to the EMEA.
Both teams are on the edge of the circle. Bloodline are currently in 2nd. They pretty much secured their spot. But Scrim Farm, they're still fighting for it. If they can take out Bloodline, that'll definitely help their chances. But as X-Team, they're again put under pressure by Bet Romania. X-Team are another team that are in the running for top 4 spot. 5th place currently on 75 points, only 4 away from Polar Ace.
Against, like, so close to almost no points whatsoever. From Messi just going to be rolling down into the valley side, making sure that Bet Romania just can't move away from this location. Bet Romania, we know as a factor, they're not going to be qualifying, very unfortunately for them. But they're still going to try and come out with a bang, get a good performance on their final game. You never know, could mean a lot for them on the long run. But X-Team, they understand that maybe this is not the most valuable fight they've taken so far. They're still standing in 5th position at the start of this one. So if you can avoid a fight, if you don't have to go for it, why take the chance?
Exactly. Why take the chance indeed? You're just better off kind of disengaging away, making your way in the circle, especially because on this phase 4 shift, it did go more towards the east, so they are under a bit more pressure on the western side of that river. So by them disengaging away, they're kind of being a bit more proactive. Now, they'll still want to be careful that they're not stabbed in the back from behind. But right now, they have that full squad available on that phase 5 shift. And it could definitely set themselves up quite strongly indeed.
Could be good setup in the long run. Here it is, going to be seeing the circle. It did shift. I'd love to see where it's going to be. Oh no, this is a super hard shift. Like you had like maybe 20% of land was actually over on the eastern side of the river, and it actually goes over to Cosmodrome. I mean, they called it maybe Cosmodrome finish, and it seems like that is actually delivering. Yeah. What?
I did say the river was going to be in play, Max, and it certainly has proved to be the case.
It tricked us. It was like, now I'm going to go to the west. No, I'm going to pull a little sneaky on you. Back over to the east we go. And we're going to mess up the entire positions of these teams. And it comes back once again. Imagine if Red Reserve rotated a little bit earlier away from Godsend. Imagine what could have happened. It would be in Cosmodrome, all nice and dandy, doing a similar rotation to Godsend. It could have been huge, game-changing, actually. That is not going to be going their way.
Tell you what, we don't have to imagine all the people that are still left in this lobby, all the teams that are still left in the running to make it into the top 4. And Godsend are one of those teams. 8 kills so far in this game. They're into the top 10. They are on the eastern side of this river with plenty of space around them.
You know, our killers are inside games just going to be looking at each other, making sure that they don't get too close of one another. But now going downhill of Mount Kresnik, that is going to be Scrim Farm. There's going to be also UDR killers. UDR killers, they qualify, but if they can take a few teams down along the way and make sure the Bloodline doesn't threaten that #1 spot, I'm sure they'll be trying to do so in a really big fashion. But Scrim Farm, they're under a lot of pressure. Scrim Farm, if they die right now, I'm also going to call it. They're not going to make it on through. Scrim Farm need a chicken dinner or second position was lot kill. Here it is. Going to have another fight happening. X team very close to potentially also qualifying. Going to be fighting versus Clay GLA. Clay GLA, they've got nothing to lose in this one. Just going to go full ham in a fight. Yunka and Hardboy still remain. Since got and Raxman got taken out. They lose an extra one. Andy, Beg for Mercy, and everyone else is going to be doing such a big impact for the side of X team, picking up 2 kills along the way. That's going to be their 3rd. And Clay GLA will be unfortunately losing a lot of their members along the way. But now, look at that. You even got Herbs off gun joining the party. I mean, they're also another team that's not going to qualify. They're like, why the hell not? Let's go for another fight.
Hell yeah, indeed. Let's mix things up as Hardboy tries to mix things up against Herbs. But Herbs has this shake and bake moment. He's called Herbs. He has that Sage. He has that Oregano. And he has the bullets to take down Clay GLA.
MP5K power proven by Herbs is dominant fashion. Next team, still that 4-man advantage, can have a huge influence. Got to see how that's going to be running out in the entire game. 1 minute and 15 seconds before the circle starts wrapping out and around these teams. They still got a few cars though. I've been pretty much in touch with X team, and I think they're desperately going to need those cars, but the circle did go further down south. And I think we still have an edge of Cosmodrome still in play, if I'm not mistaken. So teams holding on to that side could have a really big influence in this game.
And it's not much, but can I also talk about how important that was for X Team that Clay GLA got taken out by Gun? It was so important because, yeah, okay, it was one player left standing, but as an example, could have taken down one member of X Team, that would have left them up as three members left. And when you're coming into phase 6, having that full squad, even if you are further away from the circle, can be so much more important on your rotation. And if I'm not mistaken, that puts so much more pressure on Scrim Farm, who are still in the blue zone with UDR killers in front of them.
They're gone.
Scrim Farm are gone. They're out. They are eliminated. Their chances of the EMEA League, as far as I know, are done.
Blown to smithereens. Thank you so much. Still, Scrim Farm deserve a lot of respect for their entire run in the PMCO of this full split. They did a lot, and they've really, really impressed us through and through. So good stuff from them. And now refocus on what's happening. And what's happening so far is Godsend being gifted one of the best circles of here. Vikendi, Mamula gonna, oh my god, there you go. Blown to smithereens. See you later. Into the lobby. Mamula V2 is nice seeing you, but UDR killers down below with also Bloodline. These two teams always magnetized to each other. I don't know what it is between these two teams. They have some true chemistry going on. And Eurofan alone over there as the Frozen River is just shining upon us with this recent update. It looks absolutely magnificent, but so is this final game as a whole. Eurofan thinking the molly looks pretty spot on. The grenade's going to be unfolding. So much utility chucked on over by UDR killers. They want to make sure they secure that #1 spot away. They don't want to allow Bloodline just even a small chance on making it on top. Eurofan taking a lot of damage right there. The blue zone is right behind him, and he's the last standing player of Bloodline. The mollies are making sure he can't move away from the rock. And I think UDR will be eliminating Bloodline very soon.
Do also want to highlight MVP did go out in 11th place, so their chances of the EMEA League spot is confirmed to be out of here. So we currently still have X Team, Polarize, Godsend, Bloodline, and UDR killers in the mix. Of course, X Team, they have the biggest chance of taking out and pushing back Polar Ace from that 4th place spot.
Literally, Godsend, Polar Ace, and next team. Those are the 3 teams you want to keep in mind going into this because they are currently fighting for that qualification spot. Blood, oh my god, really good shots from Neurofem. Unfortunately, the blue zone ticking pretty heavily, but that's going to take 1 kill away from UDR Killers. But Bloodline will be out in 7th position. Still a really good roll. They'll be normally 7th position at the end of the day. We'll make sure in the standings after this one. But that's going to be Polar Ace actually under pressure by the side of Godsend, and they're going to be really in a tricky spot. But X team, they're going to be potentially taking the action towards UDR Killers down below. They got the high ground position, so why not try and put the pressure down? They picked up 4 kills along the way. Every kill might be the reason why X team push into the top 4. This is a game that they just can't afford to have a bad performance. They need to hold strong to get a good game, get those kills, and potentially even the chicken dinner to qualify.
With Nightmare knocked out, he was their only player pretty much inside the circle, which really hurts their chances. They have Gun to one side, they have UDR Killers to the other side. The good thing is that UDR are outside the circle, and they might opt to go towards more of a southern wraparound to make their way into the circle. Maybe potentially compound onto Godsend. Godsend, we haven't really talked about them too much, but they're on 10 kills in this game. 10 kills max.
I also got to mention Polar Ace got taken out. That's also a thing. Polar Ace are out of the equation. They're out. They're actually eliminated. So they have it. Polar Ace, we'll have to see you later. We'll have to see, because literally I did not even see how many kills they had throughout this entire game. Big surprise. But now going to be over to Godsend. They're going to be slowly pushed upon by Gun. Gun, their team that we mentioned it earlier. They're not fighting in contestment for that position in the top 4. So overall, they're just going to try and have a nice banging performance to close off their adventure in the full split of PMCO EU. VDR Killers, still 4-man team, but X team, all the eyes are literally on X team at this point in time in Pyramid. X team, if they take a really huge performance right here, they could literally just take away this game from Polar Ace.
I can confirm that Polar Ace got 9 points. They got 6 for placement. They got 3 kill points. So now, indeed, as you mentioned, it comes down to X team. Can they put X marks a spot onto the 4th place EMEA League position? UDR Killers, they want to stop them in their tracks. They're already in 1st. They're already qualified, baby, but they want to end on another high note.
Let's see, UDR Killers, can you take your 3rd chicken dinner and be the top chicken dinner counter of this game? X team, Beg for Mercy, definitely saw UDR Killers, and they're about to be in the blue, but they're going to be the blue in themselves. So X team, they mustn't really just go for it. They must not hold their horses. Got to push on forward right now as X team. They only got Beg for Mercy remaining in this lobby. It's going to be so troublesome. UDR Killers going to be pushed over the ridge of this mountain. Beg for Mercy, he's going to try and go for a heal off. He's got 25 bandages, but those do not work out well in this blue zone of phase 7 into phase 8. You need to try and move out right now. He's got the smoke giving him a little bit of coverage. This might just be the end of X team, and this might just not be enough to take the position away from Polar Ace. Godsend with this game, I'm going to call it right now. They made the qualification. Beg for Mercy go out. I literally do not know. Is it going to be Polar Ace? Is it going to be X team? I have no clue. We'll have to check overall in the standings after this one, but now it's all between Gun, Godsend, and even UDR Killers, as UDR Killers aiming to take their 3rd chicken dinner. But Godsend standing strong at the start of this game. 3rd position, 0 chicken dinners. If they get it, they will be 100% qualified, even though they pretty much are. God damn it.
12 kills max, 12 kills for Godsend in this game. They are looking to dominate this Vikendi game. They looking to paint this snowy landscape red with Godsend kills, Godsend damage. They have UDR Killers to one side. They've gone to the other side. Credit where credit's due to Gun. They're out of running for the top 4 spot, but they are also looking to end on a high note.
This is the Gun we wanted to see throughout the entire tournament, but at least you end on a good game, and that's always nice to see. Never give up and show us what you guys can do on the long run. UDR Killers going to be pushing up. It's currently a 4v4v3. This Gun definitely do not have the man advantage, and even less right now as Ultra is going to be lasered on through by Ulysses of UDR Killers. UDR Killers, really clean approach, very spread, trying to get the approach and make their way. They hold the circle so far. They want to make sure the Gun don't try and take it away from them, but here it is. Great push from Wolves with the Uzi. Going to be switching over to the G36C. Putting himself one flush onto a player of UDR Killers, and Wolf, big annoyance into the heads of UDR Killers, really struggling to hold onto the ledge.
This is great by UDR Killers. Can I talk about how well they've done to get into a controlling position inside the circle?
I mean, they're doing absolutely awesome this game, and Godsend still has a 4-man squad. The Blues going to be starting to take down, so they've got to move down the hill and maybe going to have a little bit of a surprise onto the backside. UDR Killers trying to fight back. They find himself one player. It's going to be Marley knocked away for the side of Godsend. UDR Killers still got 2 on their side. You're going to have Nano. You're also going to have yourself Pocus. The smokes are buying him a lot of precious time, and Pocus will be traded out at the end of the day right there with a Navi of the Godsend composition. UDR Killers, they get eliminated with an extra player. That's going to be the end of their tail, and now Gun with Herbs fighting to potentially steal the chicken dinner away. But look at the kills. Imperium, 17 kills for Godsend. They didn't get chicken dinner throughout the entire finals. They want to end on a high note right now with an 18 kill bomb.
And it's like they're looking to end with as many kills as they can get in placement points. Herbs is now the last man standing. 1v4. Reese, the Irish God, led by the rest of the Godsend team. Nice knockdown by Herbs and the Raucus.
Yeah, Herbs able to find himself Raucus. Can we end it off with a 1v4 clutch by Herbs? This could make history in the going times of EU PMCO. Gonna go for the flush. Hey, you know what? Secure the kills while he still can. Put so damn low, and the blue zone is gonna be pushing up against him in 5 seconds. And Godsend, they know it. He's pinned down. He can't do anything of this push. One bullet is all they need. They find it, and that's gonna be the final chicken dinner going over to none other than Godsend. They fought tooth and nail the entire finals to get that chicken dinner, and they finally get it to close it off. You know what? I'm gonna say it. I think they took second position away from Bloodline here.
We'll have to wait and see. I don't want to be too biased, but Reeves, the Irish God himself, ending with 7 kills alone. The whole team with 18 just picking this game up and just grabbing it by the balls and just shoving it up and teabagging every single other team. What a great performance by Godsend. It was just deserved by what has been overall a very consistent run in the EU PMCO.
So where things get tricky, I'm not going to move on forward and predict anything because I literally do not know. Polar Ace, X Team. All the eyes are literally on these 2 squads for now. Because X Team at the start of this game, they were in 5th position at the doorstep of qualifying for the EMEA League, and they had themselves 75 points. Polar Ace, just above, they were in 4th position. They were qualified, basically, if they held on strong to that number 4 spot with 79 points. They had a 4-point difference. Polar Ace did die before X Team.
Yeah.
Will they make enough points to try and make up for that and take that number 4 spot away from Polar Ace? We'll have to see. Going to be seen also at the bottom side, the Real Deal. Time to shine. They got engaged on very, very early on, unfortunately for them, by the Real Deal. And then the third party of Godsend. So they definitely struggled, but still a really good run from Time to Shine in the finals. But they have it, Imperium. Back over to the face cam. We're sweating, a little bit. I'm very shiny on my face because these games have been very taxing, very demanding, and rightly so. I mean, the teams have been tryharding so hard. We've been tryharding on the casting too, and we hope the show was enjoyable. You know what, Imperium? I think it's time. I'm going to update the standings, and we're going to see who will be the top 4 teams. So there we go. 3, 2, 1. Here are going to be your top 4 teams going to the EMEA League to represent Europe. Number 1 position, UDR Killers with 131 points. Number 2, Godsend with 120 points. Bloodline, 3rd position with 104 points. And Polar Ace, literally, we mentioned it, Imperium, down to 1 singular point. Polar Ace able to just hold on through with the skin of their teeth, taking 4th position away from X Team with 88 points. What a way to close off this finals.
And that 1 point difference isn't just important off the fact that it was that 1 point lead, but if they were on equal points, X Team would have overtaken Polar Ace because they had 1 more kill point.
Yeah.
What a way to end. We talked about it from previous PMCOs. We talked about it from the PMWL. We talked about it and mentioned it from the just ended CIS PMCO. That 1 kill, that 1 point can make all the difference, and Polar Ace have made it the difference for their benefit, and they have secured that EMEA League spot with Bloodline, with Godsend, and with UDR Killers.
I mean, I'm just thinking right now, the fact that Polar Ace, when you think about it at the very start, they got hot dropped by Bet Romania. Yeah. They wanted to get rid of Polar Ace, and Polar Ace, they're like, nah, dude, we're gonna make on through. They picked up a few kills in the early stage, and those few kills they actually picked up on Bet Romania actually made the difference. You know what? Thank you very much, Bet Romania. Polar Ace are pretty happy about that hot job, and they are going to be holding on strong. Number 4. I mean, Jesus Christ.
They're the only team also to qualify without a chicken dinner.
Yeah, which is also like huge. Like, I think that like we're getting a lot of credit, of course. You know, UDR Killers, Godsend, Bloodline, Polar Ace. Congratulations. That was a huge goddamn performance you guys put on through, and GG well play. You guys will represent really well the European region. I'm for goddamn sure going into the EMEA League, but also respects to X Team in 5th position, just 1 point away. They deserve also so much credit. Scrim Farm in 6th position with 0 chicken dinners. Even Time to Shine in 8th with 0 chicken dinners. Like, if any of those teams just got a few extra points, it would have made the entire difference. It was damn close at the end, but at the end of a broadcast, we have to crown 4 winners, and they just happen to be UDR, Godsend, Bloodline, and Polar Ace.
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, every single one of these 16 teams deserve not just my respect, your respect, but everybody's respect within the EU region. They've fought, they've crawled, they've proven themselves to be one of the top 16 teams, and they know that they are better than this, and that doesn't take away from the fact that they should be very proud of what they've achieved in this full split EU PMCO. But what they can do is they can take this experience, they can take this defeat, they can take this loss, and they can turn it into focus. They can turn it into next year's PMCO. They can turn it into training, into focus, into determination to prove not only everybody but themselves wrong. We've seen it before, we will see it again. Every single one of these teams are absolutely amazing, and I have so much love and respect for them. Like you said, at the end of the day, the focus has to go over to the 4 teams that have qualified. Godsend ending on the same amount of kill points as placement points. When was the last time you really saw that, Max?
I mean, balanced, as all things should be. There you go, that's just oh god, I mean, it fell away. It wasn't balanced. I'm sorry, guys. I tried. But they, like, really, Godsend, they just deserve so much respect for this. I mean, they're known as a very aggressive team. Sure, it was maybe a little bit weird when the fight happened on Miramar, but that's okay. And they still pulled on through. They were consistent throughout the entire tournament, and they would have really qualified with, when you think about it, 0 chicken dinners. But at the end, they just closed off and just perfectly done. Just a little sprinkle at the end to close off. It was just a great game overall, and like the entire tournament, just so good. Like the spring split was fun, but this took the European region to like a whole new goddamn level.
And it's not the fact, even though some people might turn around and go, you know, the team that finished 4th in the spring split got 91 points, and the team that finished 4th in the full split got 88 points. You might think that, hey, that means that the standard is lower in the full split. I say no, the standard is higher, because it just meant that the team that finished 4th, that crawled their way through, the 3 teams above that were just kind of that strong that they did zap a lot of points from the teams down in the lower standings. It's just the fact that, like, UDR Killers coming from the spring split to the PMWL to the fall split and just continually proving everybody wrong, every single one of their doubters, every single one of them proving that they have what it takes to be the best in Europe and continuing on that title as the best team in Europe.
I mean, they did it once again. Back-to-back win. 2020 is definitely their year to show up. So really, congratulations to them. You know, we after the broadcast, after the final game, the tension is finally... We're dropping. Let's breathe in, breathe out. Let's have a little bit of a calm time. It's fine. Let's do some yoga after this especially. But that's going to be it for the broadcast, really. And you know what? Teams are qualifying, trying to fight for that top 4 spot overall in the EMEA League. So I'm just going to be talking about that just a little bit to tell you guys what's going to be the next stage of this tournament. The EMEA League is going to be kicking off on the 8th of October, which is very soon, by the way. It's literally just like, what, 18, 19 days? And it's going to be at 6 p.m. GMT on, of course, all the officials PUBG Mobile Esports channels. That's going to be on Twitch, YouTube, and also on Facebook. You definitely want to be over there, hit that subscribe button to be notified when we do go live for those, because the action, if 4 PMCO was action-packed, you know what? I'm telling you right now, the EMEA League is going to be even more action-packed, and I just can't wait to jump into it.
It really is going to be the true test of resilience and consistency, right? Because not only are you going to have the mix of EU, Turkey, CAS, and German teams, but you have the mix of the Middle Eastern African teams, the likes of Esports who qualify from their respective region in the mix. And it's also over a number of weeks. So, you know, everybody knows, all the players in the teams would have much preferred a 3-day finals for the EU PMCO or 12 games, for example. They're going to have it in the EMEA League, right? They're going to have it of like UDR Killers, Godsend. UDR Killers are used to it with the PMWL, but Godsend, Bloodline, Polaris, now's your time to prove everybody else even more. Now's your time to show that level of consistency, right? We saw Godsend show it. We saw Polaris, even Bloodline today showed it. But can they turn it up and do it in the EMEA? I
mean, we're just being so more picky now, because before we had regional finals, only 2 days of action. Now we have an entire event. You know what? We'll be more picky, and this is the reason why. The EMEA League is not here to make just pro players or anything. We're here with the EMEA League to make the stars of tomorrow of the PUBG Mobile Esports scene over here in Europe. Who's it going to be? It's going to be Bloodline. It's going to be UDR Killers once again. We just don't know, and it's so fun to see.
And there is 3 spots available for the PUBG Mobile Global Championship.
What is that?
From the EMEA League.
Is that the Global Championship for overall an insane cash? Bro, even the EMEA, $100,000 US. Like, it's so much money. There you go. That's my little session.
I was like, okay, I'll allow you to have it for like a little bit, but it's okay. Yeah, like 3 spots available for the PUBG Mobile Global Championship. And it does echo what you said of creating the PUBG Mobile Stars of Tomorrow, because if you qualify for the PUBG Mobile Global Championship, you're setting yourself up for next year. You're putting all eyes on you as a team, as players, and you know, you're doing yourself proud, you're doing your country proud, you're doing your region proud. And it's, for me, it's an honor to be casting these games, because I know that in 2 months' time, when I see these teams playing in the PUBG Mobile Global Championship, and go, yeah, I casted those teams' games in the fall split when they started things off for themselves. It's amazing.
It's amazing. But once again, congratulations to the Art Killers, Godsent, Bloodline, and also Polar Ace taking himself those top 4 position. Moving over to the next stage of the EMEA League, once again kicking off on the 8th of October in just a few weeks' time. With that said, that's going to be the end of today's broadcast. Thank you so much for coming around and just joining us in this adventure. It's been an absolutely fun event. It's been absolutely an honor to be able to cast throughout all these entire games for myself and Imperium together. And yeah, Imperium, I think we're done here. So thank you very much for joining me, Imperium, joining me with the action. It's been an absolute pleasure. And yeah, have a great rest of your weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget, 8th of October, that's where we're going to be next time. And have a great rest of your weekend. Bye. Bye.
Roy's countering. Percocet gets the knock.
Oh, another one.
Quick counter.
The trade. Sam with the drop shot from behind. Unsuccessful on that. J7 coming in for the support.